It says we are live, so the internet hasn't broken or anything. And like I was saying, you all are, well, I guess I'm the lucky one. It was like, I had a couple of minutes today to just try to figure out like really basic stuff that you all like take for granted, like how to schedule a live broadcast. Like I hadn't had like, time to kind of figure that stuff out, but I had a few minutes and I'm like, oh wow, it's that simple.
Oh, so you got it?
Yeah.
Did you go through that? Okay, yeah. It's just tying your YouTube to your Streamlabs, which I think you already had done,
Mm-hmm.
and then finding it in the menu.
Mm-hmm. And then just making like a quick cheesy like thumbnail in the well, I just made it with Grok. Grok's the only one I could really figure out. And like the image generator that they use these days, I don't like very much. There was one, I don't remember. Are you a premium user or not?
No, I don't pay any of these people for shit.
Smart
Sorry.
thinking, because I'm microtransaction to death as it is. Just speaking of that, it's like I had to like cut down on all that shit. That's why I don't super chat fucking no one anymore these days. Because like, okay, so we got our car payments, we got our car insurance, we got our cell phone bills, we got all the stuff you consider like your
Utilities and
utilities,
property
yeah.
tax.
Yeah, all that bullshit. And then it's like, okay, so you finally get through all that and you're like, I gotta pay it. Okay, I have to pay groceries. And then you see it's like, up, my year is up on Compound Media, and I watched 3 hours of Compound Media. Fuck this. I gotta cancel this dumb thing. And then there was another one like I was subscribed to Fish Tank. And again, the Sam Hyde thing.
Yep.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, so I've watched again like 3 hours of Fish Tank. So why the fuck am I paying $60 every couple of months for this? And then it just keeps going on and on. I'm like, God damn, we really do live in a microtransaction world where we're just, chipped away to death over everything. So yeah, that's why I'm using, Streamlabs, because for what I'm going to be doing it for, it's free, and I'm not worried about a lot of other bells and whistles, because I heard like I think most of you all use like StreamYard, right?
I personally use OBS. When you see me streaming, I'm streaming through OBS. But when I'm on panel like this, it's either Streamlabs or StreamYard, or the other one that's gaining popularity is that EVMux.
That's what I've heard, that EV Mux. Like I guess I've used it like when I'm on someone else's show, but I haven't used it for myself. But I've looked like at their pricing and stuff, and I'm like, I'm doing this for shits and giggles only. That's it. It's like I don't know that I'm ever going to be able to dedicate enough time personally to ever get like watch hours or any of that. And I can't imagine that Patrick Melton guy's going to be banging down my door to be like, please use super tips, Dr. Harding. Please use it. I'm not worried about that or super chats so much. So I'm like, for what I want to do, I'm just going to use something that's quick and easy like this Streamlabs. But yeah, one of the reasons I wanted to have you on is like I want to start like kind of interviewing people around this like Dabbleverse and Hatverse, and just figuring out who the hell all of you are.
Okay.
Because I mean, I've been watching. Yeah, we've been friendly for a while, but I guess I just wanted to hear it verbally. Like, like how did you come into being in this Dabbleverse? Like, how did you discover all of it? What's your origin story for getting involved in all this, Nature Boy?
Woo! I can't do a player. Woo. Yeah, first, I'm flattered. Thank you for deciding to have this chat. There's long story short, it started with me like going through a breakup, and then like a divorce, I should say, and then like me getting back on the internet in a weird way. YouTube started, this is 2013, 2014. So YouTube started getting, it had a lot more steam than it did back in 2008 when I'm watching dumb shit. There wasn't anything really happening. And so I started catching Opie and Anthony. Like there were channels that had like all the clipped comedians, so I'm like watching stand-up specials on YouTube, anything I can find, and then it starts pushing old Opie and Anthony to me because of their roundtables, like with Colin Quinn and Rich Voss and Jim Norton, Patrice O'Neill, and all those guys that were coming through. So I started getting back into that because I remember them being on the radio here in Cleveland and competing with Howard Stern and our local morning guy, Rover. So I've always had an interest in radio. Even as a kid, like radio DJing is like a thing for me. I would love to be able to play my own music. If you look on my channel, like if you sort the live streams by old, you'll see a bunch of music playlists of copyright music that I was just playing. Like there's themes to them, and like I like making playlists and sharing them. So that's where the radio stuff, and then getting into Opie and Anthony, the Opie and Anthony subreddit after that, which was a complete trash fire, dumpster fire, tire fire, all on an island. There was so I started getting exposed to what trolls were like and what fighting on the internet was like, and seeing dildos photoshopped in everybody's hand and face, so I was like, oh, this is, whoa, I can't believe I'm missing all this.
Yeah.
So between Reddit and YouTube, I'm getting Revenge of the Sis, and then other like Owen Benjamin, and then Joe Rogan, and then also I see all those comedians and getting pushed into the more modern thing. And then it was Aaron, Chad, and Opie all kind of came together because they were all like Aaron was trying to get on Opie's stream, so that got Steel Toe in the Opie and Anthony algorithm for me. And then he started fighting with Chad, who I know from being on local radio here, again, starting shit with other radio. Chad was on the local afternoon show, tried to pick fights with the morning show to get juice because Alan Cox was new. There's a whole saga of Opie and Anthony where there was a guy here, the afternoon guy, his name was Maxwell, who got into a fight with Jim Norton and all of them. He hated Opie and Anthony. And that guy got booed off the radio by all of us here in Cleveland. Oh. And then it was Alan Cox, and we kind of accepted him. He's still on to this day. He's like a target sale of a radio afternoon show. Like, everybody's not offended by that. So, but now I'm back to more of the point. I'm watching Steel Toe fight with Opie and Chad fight with everybody. Then Melton starts picking up on Steel Toe, and that guy showed up, and I was a Melton fan early on from that. And then started seeing everybody else, just like you said, there's levels to it. And you got Shuli, that was another one. Shuli and Carl. WATP was on my radar as a podcast, but not as a Stuttering John cover until later on. And so it was like my world was really small here. It seemed like there was guys from my local radio, then a podcast I liked was now getting into this, having Kumia on and talk about Stuttering John, and I didn't care for that so much. But then Shuli shows up because of Stuttering John, and then I see the BS show and blah blah blah. And I'm like, oh shit, I know Shuli from the Shuli show. He had a channel before that where he was playing Call of Duty and Miserable Men, and like he had like an all-arounder kind of after being on Howard Stern.
Yep.
Which I'm like the shallow end of the Howard Stern show. I know more than the average, but not as much as most. But that's what drug me in here. And then, like you said, it's an evolution. You got top tier shows like WATP, TSN, Melton, and, the like Bob, Levy, whatever, MLC. Then you got the lesser ones, Cardiff, OJ, Tukey, Hack Ride, and Electra. There's like a tier. And then there's even lesser guys where I wouldn't even put myself on, but like BYB and Clowntown and a couple of other more panel shows where it's chatters together. And then like how you and I are doing now, we just kind of evolved out of it. And it's like, well, you know what? All these guys are fucking around. Why not me? Oh, he froze up a little bit for me. Oh,
yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, there we go. Your internet went wonky for a minute. Yeah. But I think you're back now, but yeah, go ahead.
Oh, it did it? Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We're finally at origin story. Yeah, I met Dylan through the same kind of thing. He was doing a Beloved Chatter with Beloved Chatter, similar to like this is. And a bunch of the Dabble guys were on his show, and he was like, well, because he's terrible at booking. If you want to be on the show, come on the show. And like nobody had asked him for like a couple days, and it's like, all right, I'll do it. Because Kinky Loco was on there and a couple other guys that I liked. But then we got to talking and about like television shows, because I also like TV and movies and stuff. And he was like, oh, how about this where we go over shows that should have been better, like cult classics to us, or things that should have been a better television show or a better movie that didn't get the recognition it did. And one of them was like Dirty Work with Norm Macdonald and Artie Lang.
Hell yeah. God, that is
such a good movie.
I got to cut you off and just say how much I have quoted that movie my entire life. I mean, I've said son of a bitch bastard to a million times, and I take credit. Yeah, I said it. I made that up. Not some bellhop in the Dirty Bird movie or whoever that was. But that was
Don Rickles.
Oh God! Yeah, I mean, they're all eating sand. Go get a horse and live in the forest.
But again, like you would think that movie would be more successful. It got overshadowed, and that was the premise of the show. So I kind of wrote myself into that, and long story short, here we are. It started with hanging out with him, doing shows, and then I figured I was playing music. That's what I started doing, and then eventually, the idea was to play game shows on a night and just have some people come hang out. And I'm still surprised to this day that people want to hang out.
Yeah, I mean, like now it's like, so like as like I've tried to establish a few times now, and I guess I'm going to sound defensive until I actually get used to it. It's like, I'm new, I don't know what I'm doing. I do want to shout out the chat that's actually here. I saw Big W, who was the nice young man that invited me on Clown Town back in the day. He's just always been a straight up good guy. I'm glad to see him in the chat here today. Matt Hibner's here, who I think is one of your buddies that has followed us over here. Now you're my buddy. You're my friend now. Hey, and there's me in the chat, but that was me saying Kip Smith, A. Thompson. Kip Smith gave me some shit the first time he saw me. It was very funny. I had a good time with him, and A. Thompson's always been a good. I just wanted to take a second to say hello because I'm still getting. I don't know how you all do it where you all sound natural, because I certainly do not sound natural. I'm going to stop the show and acknowledge the chat real quick. Hello, the chat. Now back to the show.
That's I try to. There's a little bit of a roll call while I can still get away with it. Like we don't have. It's not flying by so quick that you don't see who's there. So yeah, I don't. You'll get it, man. It's just I don't remember what the term is called, but the more you do it, the better you're going to get. Just naturally, you'll find your groove.
The whole falling off a bicycle until you don't fall off the bicycle anymore or you die. Something like that. I'm not good with sayings. but that's how how I kind of got into the deal was like more like this. I don't know how YouTube is. So I'm even though my channel is microscopic, I'm going to try my best to avoid certain, not cuss words, but the cough of 2020. I think you get the rumor and innuendo is that you might get shadow banned if you use certain words. So I'll just cough of 2020. We all know what I'm getting at, and so I'm working from home anyway. I've got, I just call it an Excel spreadsheet job. So I can watch shows and stuff and do my work, and it doesn't really interfere or anything. And I get my attention span is bad. It's it's a quote from basketball, basically. My attention span is microscopic. It's 6 seconds at a time. I'm like, I'm over it. I'm out of here. I'm worse than any ADD kid that there ever was. So, I'm watching, you said, Joe Rogan and stuff, but then it's he has guests that I like, and then he has ones I'm like, oh my God, I am not sitting through this at all. But then he had Tom Segura and Bert Kreischer on there, and I'm like, these guys seem all right. Bert Kreischer's kind of but but I need something new to watch.
Right.
And
Ari's not terrible.
Yeah.
Tom's not terrible.
Mm-hmm. So I start watching Your Mom's House, and it's right dead ass before the the cough, and I'm liking it okay. And they seem to make fun of the woke stuff and all that. I can't really tell how they are these days. I got sick of the show, but long story short, I'm watching it. I'm enjoying it pretty well and everything. Then they had Shuley on. I'm like, I kind of remember this guy from the Stern Show. So I'll watch it, and the episode I saw that had Sheila on it, man, it was fantastic. He came across as very likable and very funny. So he said he had a stream, and I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll check that out. Gives me something new to watch. Just the whole purpose of doing all this anyways, just keep constantly finding something new to watch, because I get burned out on stuff so fast. And so I watch it, and I'm digging it, but it was a microscopic channel back when, I think it was 2021 when he started it, approximately. And like, I was in the chat, and the only other person I know that was in the chat that still might be around is that clipper by the name of My Lost Interest. Do you know if that guy is still around?
I haven't seen him, but he just kind of faded away. He didn't really make an exit or something terrible happen. It just like, because there's others that are just like, oh, I gotta go now because you did something silly.
Well, sidebar, there's nothing funnier than when people do the I have to dramatically retire from this universe. Let me make a lengthy post telling you what happened and why I've got to say goodbye. This Dabbleverse used to be a place where people shared ideals and was a genuinely funny and warm community. And then somewhere along the lines, everything changed. Everything got dark. I mean, I've seen, without questions, like 50 people do what I just did right there. And they're being for fucking real. They're really telling some, like, okay, AA17Q, goodbye. You don't even have a fucking picture. You're a no picture and a bad username. I'm sorry it didn't work out for you. Thank you for your lengthy goodbye post. I guess we'll see you on the other side. And then half of those 50 people, well, they come back 2 weeks later and just try to pretend it never happened.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, what are you talking about? I had him breakdown. I'm all right now. I like Matt's term, the exit manifesto. That's a good term. I like that, Matt. Thank you.
He's seen it. I think we've all seen it. I think we're all kind of sort of part of like a hive mind anyway, because it's not like the Dabbleverse invented the exit manifesto. I've seen it in every message board I was ever part of. The Ford truck tire community used to be a place where people could come share ideas. And it's
no,
just
you got
isn't
it,
the
man.
same anymore. And I'm like, all right.
Yeah, no, you can put that right in an ad lib paragraph. And like you said, from the Ford truck tire, we love Goodyear, and now we're on to Michelin. You guys all suck. And it's like just the most minor shit that people take into their heart like that.
Don't hurt yourself, pal. I'll go to Big Choice Video instead. God damn, where do these people come from? And I'm like, how do you not know a billion other people have done the exit manifesto? You're doing it now, and it's unironic.
Yeah, it's the star, back. Right? You're the star of your own life, though. So like I'm the lead role, and I need everybody else to know that I'm making an impact right here. I'm gonna leave quietly while this trail of words follows me out the door. Get out of here with that. It's we've all seen it in different locale communities.
Yes,
we've seen not just like other people who are in it, but locales themselves. I'm going away. John is going to be coming back here shortly, but like I gotta go, and they're gone for a week, and then they're back. Like, I couldn't stay away from you guys. I love you too much. Yeah, it's super parasocial sometimes.
Yeah, I don't get it. I mean, I get it for the main eventers. They're coming back to a paycheck, but to but to the chatters that have the manifesto and come back, I'm like, you could have just made a new username, dude.
Right.
Why was it so important that AA17Q makes his return with his no picture, just the letter A?
It's awful, man. It's awful.
I hate it and I love it so much. As I get it, because some people they've heard me talk about it before. It's like I just wish there were more, I guess, theatrics. That's kind of why I do it the way I do it. Is like, it's like, all right, this is the one place where you get to pick your name. In the real world, you don't get to pick your like nickname, because then we would all be Captain Cool Dude or whatever.
Yeah, right.
But in the Twitter, YouTube verse, we at least get to pick our username at least one time. So I'm like, all right, if I'm gonna do it, I'm a comic book nerd. It's one of the nerd things that's about me. I've always really dug the Harley Quinn origin story from the cartoon from the 90s and how it evolved over the years, pretending the woke stuff never happened. Let's just pretend the woke universes never happened, and the Joker. Yeah. So I just always like, you know what? I can just pretend Earth 45-B never happened. I don't have to read that series.
I think that was their idea behind the marketing of all that.
Oh yeah.
Like we'll try to water it down for everybody who can have the most identifiable path for them. But I agree with you. Like it really peaked with the animated series in the 90s. The comic book industry was struggling, and that really put them back into teenagers' hands. I grew up in the city, and it's just big enough to not sustain anything. Like there was a comic book store, it would be there for a month or two.
Yeah.
But it would disappear because there was nobody buying comic books on the regular.
No. I mean, I can attest to that too. All the towns and stuff that I've lived, any place that had a comic book store, it was never there a year, never. And I can also attest that the comic book guy from The Simpsons is a pretty accurate portrayal of the guys that usually own it, especially when you go in to try to make a trade for credit. Like you bring in your stack and then he grades it on his show. It's like, this isn't mint condition. This is very fine at best. Which
you see the curling on the corners of these pages?
Yes,
it's faded. It's been sitting in the light, man. What are you doing? Where's your UV protected sleeves? Get out of here with this.
Get out of here.
When people talk about gatekeeping and elitism, get in fucking line. Those guys were doing it first, man, and face to face. They're trashing your collection to your face. But this is my heart and soul, man. It's worth about $8.
It's the one time in their life that they got to be better than, because they're the classic nerd from like the Porky's movies and shit like that. And now they're a manager, they're an owner of a comic book store. They can tell you fuck you to your face and you gotta like it. But
you want that next issue of Spider-Man? You're coming back, bitch.
You're coming back. Or you're going to hope that it's at Kroger. It probably won't be. And if it is at Kroger, guess what? You're going to enjoy some more curling around the corners and yellowed pages.
It's going to be in that wire rack all beat up with cover torn already. You're like, fuck, man, I just wanted to.
And that you memory unlocked me. Another PTSD I always had from when I had to get the comics from like the grocery store was when the grocery store would put their own the dollar amount thing on there that had the glue that you had to peel off carefully or it'd leave the sticky.
Yeah. It would be like, oh, $1. It'd be that big orange, like the store sticker trying to liquidate the shit.
Yeah.
And it was not necessarily my era, but it had come back around. It's the hype sticker right on the record cover, the big features tracks with Pink Floyd's top tracks from the wall and blah blah. And you're like, fuck, man, it's right on the album cover, not on the shrink wrap sleeve that should be around it. It's like, fuck. Why are you devaluing my favorite things?
Yeah. Now this was leading me to the next thing I wanted to find out about you for this hard hitting interview. So we got your introduction, kind of like what led you to this dabble verse, hack verse, and all this good stuff. How did you land on your name? What's the story with your name that you picked?
There is a bit of a story there actually. It's going to mean nothing to nobody, but
I want to hear it. To me, that's even more entertaining.
Well, and here's hopefully you get to watch it later on, or maybe I could look it up on YouTube. But there's a show. It's called Noel Fielding's Luxury Comedy, and it's very much a adult style. I don't want to say like the Muppet Show. It's different than that. It's very non sequitur and random. It will definitely hold your attention, ADHD, because it just cuts to different shit a lot.
Okay.
And weird stuff is happening. There was a story, a skit, a bit, or whatever you want to call it, where it was like the Wizard of Oz, except it was these weird characters. One of them was McCoy, and one of them was called Spoon Snake, and it was
okay.
He was, and he just would keep repeating the line, "Am I nothing?" And so I thought that was funny, and I used the stupid snake's face as the avatar, and it said Spoon Snake. And so I just kind of stuck with that for a while. And that was the one that, like you said, we get to pick our name. That was like the second one I had used. The prior one being Comfort Eagle, because of it. Do you know where that's from?
No, it's just funny.
I thought Comfort Eagle is a song by the band Cake, and it's pretty good.
Okay.
It's got a cool guitar lick and some silly lyrics. So, but that did, I just didn't stay with it. But Spoon Snake, I got banned a couple places because people were reading. It's kind of fun to say. It's got an alliteration. Mm-hmm. And then, more to how I got into where I'm at. I was watching Melton, and then he says, "Join the Discord," and I'm like, "All right, fuck, man. I guess I'm joining a Discord now because I'm not on. At this point, I'm not on Twitter. I'm not posting any videos to YouTube. I'm just a beloved chatter like everybody else." Mm-hmm. And so I get into this Discord. I meet guys like Ian Hawke and Market Ubiquity and Chip Galloway. Scatty Tooth is hanging out in there, and a bunch of other people. I can't really go down the whole list, and it's a lot of people. And so I make friends with these people, and one of them was Sam V.
Okay.
And Sam V is a bit of a troublemaker from time to time, and Ian Hawke had put him in his own channel that only Sam can chat in now, and it was called Spurgville. And I was like, well, I'm going to start hanging out in Spurgville with Sam V. If he's the only one in there, I'll be the only one in there with Sam V too. And so there was a couple other people who had the same sentiment, and we were all just like, unban Sam. It was like this silly little Discord revolution type of thing. And Sam at one point goes, "Fuck it, I'm making our own Discord." Like whatever, that you guys can have your baseball. I got my own shit. And so we all kind of conspired, and then we made our own Discord, and it was called Spurgtopia.
Okay.
Discord.gg/Spurgtopia. And so it was Spurg V and Spurg Galloway and Spurg Tooth John. And like everybody put Spurg in their username. And it's happened a couple other times where we've all changed our username to now currently it would probably be Doom Snake because Doom and his clipping and thing. But Spurg Snake just kind of stuck, and everybody calls me Spurg now or Snake. And all right, I'll take it. It's not the worst name I've ever been called, believe you me. And like with coming up, I'm going to be doing a podcast about a book. Maybe here in the next few weeks, you'll see the spurginess come out because, like this, I'll start. Oh, and I was on with Brandon Deft earlier, and we were talking about audio and microphones, and I'll just or whatever we're going to talk about. I like to deep dive into subjects, and that's where my spurginess comes out. Not necessarily losing my shit over silliness and just be like, "What the fuck, man?" But that does happen. Like, there's a couple people that really get under my skin. I don't know why.
No, I know too.
But they do. One, I know why he gets under my skin. I genuinely like the guy. The other one is just fucking punchable and he needs a good ass kicking to humble himself.
Are these nameless people? Are they in the Dabbleverse? Or are they part of something else? Yep. Oh, okay.
No, they have their own show, and I really don't like them. Mm-hmm. Aaron Imholt has no idea who I am, but he's a genuinely dislikable guy in my opinion. he thinks people hate him or have a dogged emotional attachment that makes people want to just come and attack him. It's just, if I'm sitting down and having my morning bowl and cup of coffee, and it's just easy enough to fuck with him in his chat. It's not like I go out of my way or I gotta get this guy, and he doesn't realize that. It's just like, you know, I gotta take a piss, and while I'm taking or shit or whatever, I can whip out the phone and be like, you're dumbass, blah blah blah. You know, that's why he blocks all it. You can't respond to his tweets anymore because people just keep fucking haranguing him with dumb shit, and he can't take it anymore. He's really circled his wagons. And the other guy is Karmic, who I know why I dislike him. It's because I actually cared about the guy and wanted to help him, because he seemed like he needed a friend. And now he did exactly what I thought he would do and put himself in a position where he can't trust anybody. And I saw that coming by his behavior. He's like, well, how the fuck do you know? I'm like, bitch, I lived it, you know? But then he goes on to call me a dickless fag, or whatever he was, you know. And then
we're live, folks.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. Because I shouldn't do that on your channel. It's not okay. But he was like, walk a mile in my shoes. And I want to tell him he won't make it 10 feet in mine. You know, like we all go through our own hardships, you know, so everybody don't do that. Don't woe is me. You know, like you didn't have it any harder than both your parents are still together. Do you remember your mom and dad getting a divorce? I do. Mine did. You know, it's just little shit like that shape us who we are. And he's using that as a victim crutch in a way. Like, well, you guys don't have it as hard as I do. Like, nigga, you're lonely. Shut up.
Yeah, I mean, we all have our own, like, we all have our own backstory when it comes to that. You know, some people are children of a divorce. Some people are children of divorce. And now some of their parents or both of their parents are passed away. I mean, yeah, we all got our shit. Like, but so I get that. Like, I wanted to, where you brought up Aaron, I just gotta, if I don't bring it up now, I'll never remember to bring it up again in my life. I never gave two craps about that guy. All of a sudden, you know, it's like right in the middle of like Shuley getting popular and all that. And he starts like kind of talking about other shows. And I can't remember originally how they were brought up. I think it was them and Chad Zumach seemed to be giving birth to me on the same day, as far as I remember. Like, I think Shuley was covering the feud between Chad and them, because I think short version, they went after Chad because they were like, oh, you're just trying to ride the wave of John popularity, so we're going to make fun of you. And then he took it more than personal and went after them. And like, I don't know, something about like doxing them or all that. I didn't really care. But like, they were on there one day. So I checked out like one of the shows, and it was that show where that big-headed blonde woman said with a straight face, and oh God, it gives me that throw up. You know, like something so nauseating, you can feel like the Taco Bell meat is coming up your throat, and you're just gonna puke it up. It was the fucking episode where she looks at the screen and says to the chat, guys, please stop having all the cross talk in the chat. Keep your chats focused on the hosts. Thanks. And I was like, oh, I hate this fucking show more than I've ever hated anything in my life right now. This is the worst goddamn thing I've ever seen. And I was like, I'll never unironically watch this. I never even participated in the chat anyway, but I was like, what the fuck? This is the worst thing I've ever heard someone say. This is worse than please clap. I was like, oh God. And
much more cringe.
Yeah, and like, I mean, I didn't really go after him. I went after him a little bit, enough to where the big-headed blonde woman blocked me. I was like, oh, well, whatever. And then I was like, I'm just not going to watch the show with them at all. I don't care. I don't know how people clip it. I mean, maybe there's a secret bank account that they're getting thousands of dollars a week into, and that's how they can sit through it and clip that shit, because I found that show to be nothing but, well, how they make fun of it now. It's just like every 3 minutes the guy brings up, it goes, throw in a couple of bucks. That just sounds awful to me. Throw in a couple of butts yucked, your vomit, your AIDS, your pig AIDS. So that's
AIDS.
yeah, that's all I got to say about them. Really, it's like completely unentertaining. Like I don't even, I can't even watch them to make fun of them. And then what was it?
It's mentally taxing, man.
Yeah,
it really is.
It is. But I guess enough about that guy. Enough people cover that fucking retard. I don't. God.
Real quick, yeah. I'll tell you how I got banned though, because you mentioned
go
his
ahead.
spiel. So he does that spiel: Venmo, PayPal, Streamlabs, blah blah blah. And so every time he says it verbally, he hits the paste button on his keyboard, and it pastes that paragraph with all the links. And so I was timing it out. He would paste that, and I'd be like, "Stop paying his bills," and then. So every time he would hit that, it would be a fucking, and the one that got him was don't pay his child support. And he was like, all right, that's gross. You're fucking gone. And I was like, yeah, I got him finally. You know, it was like, I was so proud of myself because how else is he paying his bills and child support, dude? You're begging for money to keep your life going. I'm not far from that, but you know, I'm not, you know, I would never, if I ever have to ask for money online, it's never going to be that egregious. Never.
It's like that. It's like that DSP guy. Him and that DSP guy are basically the same people.
Like I hear that a whole lot, especially from Dylan. Dylan says the same thing. He's like, dude, like you were, and like how you mentioned with the Pokemon, like Aaron had evolved into DSP. He just moved him. Yep, he trained his way up to it, and there he is.
He did enough battles that he gained enough EXP that he went from a Prime card to an E1. So congratulations. Now, my next question for you, because this is an interview about you, hard-hitting interview, because I'm going to be I'm going to be the next Joe Rogan. You mark my words in 10 years.
Hell yeah, man.
So we've established how you got into the dabble verse. We know how you picked your name now. Now there is at least a day where you decided one of two things. Either A, someone was like, man, you're a funny guy. You want to come on one of these shows, or you just wanted to do streaming yourself. So your introduction, how would you describe how you got involved to like actually getting in front of the camera? Like how what's the backstory for that?
That was, yeah. So now, like you're doing this right, man. You got me going in a correct order. You know what led me to the Dabbleverse? How did I get my name? And I'll send you the show where I stole it from. It's a European show. I really genuinely think you would like it.
Oh, cool.
It's just silliness. It's the way you were saying you like silliness. I think you will. Like
oh
it.
Yeah.
But getting into streaming, that was it. It was like I was watching the C tier shows at this point. You know, it was Dylan from somewhere, and he was doing the Beloved Chatter thing. I saw Kinky Loco on there. Ian Hawk went on to mess with him a little bit. A couple of other KB. We know the lady KB was probably one of the last ones he had done. So I volunteered myself because, you know, why not? I thought Dylan was genuinely funny because I've seen him do the co-host auditions. And and you've seen it, the TikTok around the clock. He knows how to find funny shit on TikTok and make light and not it in a way.
And just to give him, like, you know, his flowers, like he's not doing the shit that all these damn, and I'm not gonna say their names, but all these C and D level Dabbleverse shows, just watching the same clips that everybody else is watching, that much funnier people have already commented on. And Dylan is going out and finding his own shit on like TikTok and whatnot. Yep. And it's stuff no one else is covering, and it's shit that's genuinely funny.
We both have seen it too, especially with the online speed dating things, and you can't predict what's going to come out of there, and then we all have a laugh together, and it kind of pulls us together. And I agree with what you're also saying there. Melton gets a hold of it, trashes it for a half an hour on his show. Then we go over to WATP, and they get the same clip, and they trash it for an hour and a half. Then Shuley trashes it. Then the next guy, and then right. So, you know, it is very circle jerky, ookie cookie-ish, if you will, as it were. Digress.
Yeah.
But like, so, and that's Dylan was doing something different, and I appreciated that. So I was watching something different. It was the same with the Shuley Network. I didn't care for the John stuff. I did appreciate the BS show when he was covering Pete DiLorenzo. That was peaked me. That shit was peaked me.
That was great. Like that era where he was like not talking about John, Pete DiLorenzo, the not dead Corey. Is it Feldman that's not dead?
Right. Yeah, Corey Feldman.
Not dead Corey, and some other randoms. Those were that was peak era BS show. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's, you know, I really enjoyed that. But so that's what it was. I did an interview with Dylan, and then he was doing co-host auditions, and I suggested we were talking about another show that I liked that he also liked. It's called TV Funhouse, and you guys might know it from Saturday Night Live. He had Saturday TV Funhouse, and the guy would do the ambiguously gay duo or the fun with real audio, REEL, like it would be like audio clips taken out of context, and it would be like Barbara Walters and Bill Clinton interview, but Bill Clinton's like taking his clothes off and Barbara Walters is stripping her shirt off and they're about to make love or whatever. So this guy had a TV show on Comedy Central, and it only lasted 6 episodes. And if you watch them, you know why, because it gets really raunchy, and it's animals and puppets and one human. So it's like packaged as a kids show, but on at 3 a.m. So it didn't really get traction or anything. Mm-hmm. One of comic the Triumph comic.
Yes, yeah.
Triumph the insult comic dog. He was on an episode, and he did a whole song. It was called Underage Bichon. where he sings about how he had sex with another dog that turned out to be underage and it was bad for him. That's also on my YouTube channel. I will tweet that out again.
I gotta stop you real quick because
do you want to watch it? I'll
Oh no, yeah, well, yeah, if you can find it, but I gotta point out something that Matt Hibner said that is fucking funny. He just says,
"Oh, okay."
You know, going back to what we were talking about, clipping is worse than coal mining.
Yes, I saw that. He's right. It will wreck your brain. That's what we were talking about. Dylan and I was doing a show about Aaron Imholt for a while. There was a divorce clock that was put up. So me and Dylan did a show covering Aaron Imholt called the St. Cloud Divorce Show. We were betting on when was it going to be the full 2 years. It didn't even last a year. We literally started doing a show. We did about 6 weeks worth of episodes, and they were divorced. Oh, okay. It was like, fuck, man, that was canceled before it even got going. So, you know, clipping it's brain rot. Matt knows about brain rot. It will rot your frontal lobe to the core.
Like where you and Dylan sometimes you do the shows where you'll go back and watch shit that I remember from my childhood, and I remember thinking like, God Almighty, why didn't this last longer? Like the Chris Elliott show, like that to me, that was just right up my because it's like nonsensical comedy. It's like completely unrealistic. This is not based in the real world whatsoever. Comedy and Tales from the Crypt and stuff like that, and it's just like memory unlocked stuff. And I remember seeing like lots of stuff like that, like back in the day. That just like, I wish I could go back in time and like find out why this show really didn't work. I mean, I guess the short answer is ratings, but like one I remember like that was very, 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 very short-lived, and and I'm sure a lot of people are kicking themselves in the ass now. Like, did you ever get to see that? Like, I think it was only about 6 episodes too before they pulled the plug. The original Ben Stiller show on Fox.
I know exactly. Yes, I don't have good memories of the skits like a lot of them, but I do remember specifically him doing Tom Cruise. And it was spot the fuck on. Like a young Ben Stiller doing Tom Cruise fake interviews, because he was doing that laugh even before other people were.
Oh God, yeah.
That crazy laugh that he was always, So yeah, I do remember that. That was another one that just didn't get the traction that it should have. Dana Carvey also had a show that didn't get any traction, but that one was. I think it was specifically the ratings, and he was just doing shit that was not funny to other people. It was too much.
I don't remember it. I think I gave it a chance myself, and I don't remember like hating it. I just remember like it not jiving with me or whatever. Right. I never made it a point to watch it. I was a big fan of that Ben Stiller show. Like when that first episode, it gripped me. I was like, this is the funniest thing. This is comedy, right? Because I grew up on, now we will all sound like karmic whenever we say, if this makes any sense, even though I've said that my whole life, it's my goddamn same.
I know he stole all these generic colloquialisms, so now it's like every time we say them, like fuck that guy.
It's like I'm not gonna pay royalties to say something I've said my whole life, but like I grew up on The Kids in the Hall, which to me was like I call it as a kid. I said, this is like comedy for us nerds at the nerd table. We get it. The fucking jocks, the preps, the rednecks, the dogs from the hood, they don't get it. They don't find it funny at all. But, the goth, you see, my lunch table was the nerd table with the goth table and the wrestling nerds, and we were all together. We were all like, we were all uneasy allies because the goths didn't necessarily like wrestling, but they liked weird comedy like Kids in the Hall, and it just kind of went around like that. Like the wrestling fans like weird comedy, but not went like that. And I'm dead in the fucking center. I'm riding that fence post. I'm the goth that likes wrestling and weird comedy.
Yeah, I was surprised to find out that you were so knowledgeable at wrestling. It was impressive because I thought I still think Dylan's knowledge is pretty impressive, but you took him up a notch. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I keep up with it to this day, but now I'm keeping up with it in like kind of a different way. It's like WWE I'm keeping up with because I genuinely still like it, even though I'm very critical of it. AEW, if you've even heard of that, I don't like it at all, and I don't watch it at all, but I'll see a clip of it, and I'll keep up enough with it so I can comment on it, but that's about it. But like, my wrestling knowledge goes deep. It's not just what's on the screen, it's how it's produced, the people that write it, the people that create the theme music, the people that create the Titantron entrance videos, and so on. It was wrestling to me is like one of the things, like, I don't know why, but like I dug it for more than what was on the screen. I wanted to know how the sausage was made. Not only how the sausage was made, but the factory that made the sausage. I wanted to know the landscaping crew that took care of the shrubbery outside of the sausage factory. For some reason, wrestling is like that with me, and I get it. It is. That's why I sat at the nerd table. It's why I embraced the nerd. I know this is never going to get me laid going into like how much I like that stupid shit. But I acknowledge that it, to the majority of the world it is. But that's how I got onto that. And I'm sorry, I'm bad about one thing. I get excited when I talk to people, and I think of a conversation like a tree. And I'm starting out in the roots, and you're going up a tree, and now a tree has like 50,000 branches, and I just end up going branch to branch to branch. So I apologize if you ever get frustrated talking to me. It's like, we were just talking about rocket ships, and now you're wanting to talk about photosynthesis. Pick a branch, pal.
No, you're fine. Because we'll head back a little bit. Yeah, I agree with the lunch table sentiment. That's usually how I judge my friends. It's like, would you be sitting across the lunch table? Will we be talking about Sega Game Gear in the 6th grade? Sure.
Yeah.
And it does pan out that way. You got like that little bit of overlap of circles. I was talking to another guy, and he's like, yeah, I used to do that. We'd be at a party for 2 or 3 hours, but like hang out, meet everybody, then hop in the car and drive down the street to so-and-so's party, because he's got 10 people over in the living room right now, apparently. And we know
some of those people. So there's connected tissue usually between all of these like little groups. It's like we were kind of talking about Ben Stiller. It's like, because it goes back to Kids in the Hall with me. It was the first kind of comedy that really like made sense. Not made sense, but it was like it was written for me. Like I was the main character on planet Earth, and we're like, we want to make a show that is batshit nonsensical, but at least one guy, and it's that fucking guy right there. And like almost every episode was like a home run for me. Now they're like later seasons, like 95, no, not so much, but like, you know, the first like 4 seasons, it was almost like a home run every time, and entirely quotable. And it makes no sense, you know. Oh, yeah, I'm crushing your head. I'm crushing your head. Like, no one on earth would think that's funny, but we know why it's funny, and it's fucking funny. Sausages! Sausages! I want my sausages! You know?
I think, right. There was another one that stuck out for me. It was the Eradicator. He was like he was like the racquetball, masked racquetball man. He was like, yeah.
That's the one.
The Eradicator.
Okay. You accidentally landed on one of the reasons I get bent out of shape in the dabble verse, like and it's just going to make sense in a few minutes, because like you already know I'm kind of I can kind of ramble a little bit.
Meander
like,
is the
meander. I'm a meanderer, Dr. Meander. I should have called myself Dr. Meander Quinn. Like from watching the regular shows like Shuley and them and Perry Caravello and a lot of the shows that like kind of are part of this connected, you know, overall overlapping universe, the Dabbleverse, Hackverse, etc. verse and all that. What would bend me out of shape sometimes is like when, you know, like I would call them stuff like the AA71Q people. Like you don't have a name, you have the stupid name that you had put no thought in. You don't have a picture, you don't have anything, you're no gimmick, but yet you're getting traction. And it would make me kind of irritated where, you know, you would see people that would get traction and then they'd finally go on a show, and I would always call them the Eradicator, because they would build up this history. It's like, man, when the Eradicator sends in a super chat, it's the funniest super chat of the night. Everybody's going to talk about the Eradicator. And they build up this history, and they're finally the Eradicator. The Eradicator's finally going to do a fucking show. We're finally going to know who the fuck the Eradicator is. We're going to find out tonight. And then he goes on one of the, you know, the C or D level shows. He's finally he's not behind his username picture of a baseball. It's gonna be him, and it always turns out to be Fred on break from his shift at Kroger doing an interview in his goddamn car. And I'm like, God damn it, for a year straight, we're led to believe the Eradicator 666. Hell hath no fury when the Eradicator leaves a super tip on your channel. Your belly's gonna bust from all that laughing, and he is one to be feared. And then, oh, well, it's just that guy. He was built up to be Satan.
and he's that guy. On his break. Right now, he's on his break from driving the Frito-Lay truck, telling you how the world works, and you're like, oh god damn it, here we go again. Now, there's been a number of guys. That's kind of what the term has been thrown around. Thanks to Stevie Lou, of all people, who did the same kind of thing. He was like a chatter and sort of hang around her, and then because of who his friends were, he started doing stand-up and now he's a guy. He streams every other day. He's hanging out with Kevin Brennan more than ever. That was another thing. Like, yeah, Compound Media kind of got onto my radar around later on, because I didn't know what had happened at Sirius. And so like Ant wasn't putting out clips, but other people were clipping them. So I was like seeing newer things that he was doing in Hot Water, Pat Dixon, Aaron Berg, and a couple other people who are just like always around in there.
Oh God. Yeah. I mean, yeah, those guys were always so lucky with all the comedic talent they kind of just had there. I don't know, but it goes back to what we was talking about, you know, before the show. It's like, just microtransaction to death. I can't keep up with all this stuff anymore anyway. But yeah, I don't know. But that's what God, This is the curse of me branching off 50 different ways. I don't know which branch I was wanting to go back to, except we were talking about the Ben Stiller show and Kids in the Hall. What were some other stuff that you liked growing up that, definitely fits the description of like, this is what the weird kids like me liked?
Early Adult Swim.
Oh yeah, that was great.
So like middle school was just me and a couple friends. We were always hanging out playing video games. It was not really watching anything media wise. It was straight up PlayStation was we were playing whatever JRPGs all day long. But after that, like after I had gotten out of high school and all that, it was Adult Swim. I was like, I started watching. They started showing like G.I. Joe. Speaking of what you were just watching. It would be like an episode of G.I. Joe and then a couple of other like more of those cartoons. I was like, oh, cool. Oh, Thundercats. That was probably one of the other ones they were showing. Something like that. They had that. And then Space Ghost would be on at midnight. And I was like, what the fuck is Space Ghost?
Yeah.
I remember the old Space Ghost Hanna-Barbera cartoon. Pew, pew, you shoot your little thing from your wrist and all that.
You're lazy. Pew, pew, pew.
But then there was like this late night talk show, Coast to Coast with Space Ghost. And I was like, what the fuck is going on here? And I was like just old enough to kind of not get it and then grew into getting it. Like, it's like an anti-show. It's like not a late night show. It's the anti-late night show because he's interrupting the guests and there's stupid Brax over there making stupid jokes. I can't remember.
I just remember Brax
Moltar in the basement.
Oh,
Moltar was in the basement. Oh, I'm going to pull the lever on you, And Zorax was I'm gonna the insect guy, praying mantis. So it started there, and then Aqua Teen Hunger Force, C Lab 2021, Squid Billies, whatever, all the way up to Metalocalypse. So it was like from 17 to like 20s, or current, really, I should say.
One of the last shows that was batshit insane that I think was on Adult Swim. You correct me if I'm wrong. You probably already know what I'm going to say. I mean, I bet Mr. you Pickles? Almost do. What? Let me see if you know.
Mr. Pickles?
Nope, not Mr. Pickles, but that's one of them. One of the last things I showed, but it wasn't animated, was the Heart She Holler. Did you watch that?
No, see, that's when I started giving up on Adult Swim, is when they were switching from the animated shows to the live. I get it. It's cheaper to produce, and because like I didn't really watch $1 Billion Extreme or any of that. Mm-hmm. Like that's I had I think I had started going to college and being a little more responsible with my life by the time I'm forgetting. And that's years later. I'm in my 20s. I blew off everything from like 16 to 22 before I decided to go get a degree.
Yeah.
But that's what I was doing. I was watching comedy shows. It was Comedy Central all day, Adult Swim all night, and Dexter's Lab in the middle of the day too. Regular cartoons, just fuck it. I don't know. I've never been a real world person, I don't think.
No, but the Heart She Holler is something I would go back and check out. It's complete nonsense. It's just imagine you took LSD. It's one of those shows. But it was, I think it was only 2 seasons. And I don't even think each episode was 30 minutes. I think it was those weird 15-minute shows. But I thought it was very funny. And there was another show. It's one of those shows that has a guy in it that you've seen in a million movies, but you can never remember his name. Kind of like that movie called The Guy from That Thing, about character actors. It was a werewolf show that was on Adult Swim that was very funny, and I think it was also one of those like kind of like 15-minute shows too. I guess, damn it, I can't think of the name off the top of my head, but it was live action and just good. I kind of don't want to talk about it because I kind of want you to just see it. And
I watched a few seconds of the trailer just now, like on the front of IMDb, but where'd it go? Oh, the cast. Heather Lawless was the main actress, and they have 28 episodes. So yeah, it was a very short run over 3 years.
Yeah.
John Harraday, Kevin Brezazan, Patton Oswalt is in it.
Yeah, okay, back when he was funny. Back when he was just a funny guy. You didn't know
and Amy Sedaris.
Yep.
if you guys don't know, recognize in chat. If you don't recognize the name, and Harvey Bergman, I just saw that. Great. Oh, Amy Sedaris was Strangers with Candy back when Stephen Colbert was funny, and he played the teacher. She was the 50-year-old lady who went back to high school. I was a user, abuser, and a loser. And now I get straight. She gets adopted by a family, and she's like this old lady who's acting like a 17-year-old high schooler. Like she's like kid's sister in the house, but everybody, and it gets a little surreal as well.
Yeah. There was because when you talk about that, you're talking about like Strangers with Candy, and then what there was one show called The State? Am I correct? Okay.
Yes, it had the Reno 911 people in it, and that was on MTV.
There's still a whole world of great shit, that people can go back and discover if they haven't already before the world. In my opinion, the world quit being edgy and actually funny around 2015. That's when I think the woke mind virus officially infiltrated everything.
Yeah, you're giving another decade onto what I was saying. Like the best time in my life was 95 to 2005, not just because of my age, but look at the content that was coming out. That was all good shit. And you can make the argument that from 2005 to 2015, there was still good stuff, but I agree. I think there's a sharp taper of creativity by the time 2015 to 2025 comes around.
And what the example I'm about to give is like, it's an opinion, so I don't expect everybody or even you to have the same exact opinion. The example I'm going to give, but like there were movies that everybody liked that had a sequel that I thought was just as good as the first, but because it came out after I think the woke mind virus started infecting the world a little bit, then it got like hammered in reviews by not only critics but like the audience too. It's like Hot Tub Time Machine 1 was, I think everybody agreed that they liked it, but everybody, it seemed like, agreed they did not like the sequel. I thought the sequel was raunchy and hilarious, but it came out after. Same with Bad Santa. Everybody loved the first Bad. You can't find anyone on earth that did not like the first Bad Santa, but I don't think you can find too many people that will go on record and say they like Bad Santa 2. I fucking love Bad Santa 2. And to me, Bad Santa 2, as random as it sounds, seems like it was the last not politically correct at all raunchy comedy to come out, because I can't name anything after that I would say, yeah, that's officially raunchy and not PC. I can't think of nothing.
Right. We're not seeing stuff like, the underground comedy movie, or I remember seeing like just straight up advertisements. This isn't going to be in theaters. You can only get it on VHS or DVD or whatever, The
underground comedy movie, was that the
backwards.
One? Yeah, no, we definitely are. It's like, to me, it's like what I hated as a person growing up was like, how we're talking about again the nerd lunch table. It's like, okay, finally, Kids in the Hall. It's something written for me. All the shit that was on TV at the time, like the Saturday Night Live that I saw at that time was dog shit, because it was the Saturday Night Live before Chris Farley and Adam Sandler and all that, to where it was like the good sketches were few and far between, and they were written for grown-ups. They weren't written for a kid like me with a weird sense of humor. Same with like comedies and movie theaters. I didn't give a flying fuck about Caddyshack 1 or 2 or anything like that. I thought Michael J. Fox comedies were AIDS, just the worst things I've ever seen. I hated them. So when Clerks came out in '94, and I have a story about Clerks, and I hope you do too. My story about Clerks is this: is like I'm a dipshit kid. I'm a skateboarder, and my joke I tell that isn't very funny, but it's the joke, and I'm sticking to it because one day it's going to make me $1 million. It's like I was a semi-pro skateboarder, which is a nice way of saying I was really good at it, but didn't get paid $1 to do it. And at that time, I was a dipshit skateboarder, and I'm skateboarding around, Austin, Texas in the 90s, and I go into a 7-Eleven that rented videotapes. And I had a membership to get tapes there, and I'm looking at, and it's midnight because you're a kid, you're reckless. I wouldn't go outside after dark today, but as a skateboarding stupid ass kid, I'm skateboarding at midnight wherever, and I don't know any better. I see that tape on the wall, and for some reason it resonated with me. It's like, rent it, you won't regret it. And I was like, all right. So I got it. And it was probably the first actual raunchy and funny movie I ever saw that was that raunchy and that funny at the same time. I couldn't stop talking about it after I saw it. Once I saw it, I was like, I've got to tell everyone about whatever the fuck this is that I just saw, and I gotta sing the praises of this director and writer and blah blah blah. I was going to ask you, did you have something similar with that movie, or is that like not your era?
Particularly with Kevin Smith, it was Mallrats. Mallrats had come out. I was probably about 13 or 14 or 15-ish, 95. And it was in a magazine review. It was being reviewed, and it was like, "Is this movie have curse words?" And it was like 300 plus. And I was like, "Oh, this is probably a movie I want to watch," And so I watch it, and yeah, like it's raunchy. From like the dude is like gives. I can't remember the actor's name. He's in Walking Dead too. But
I know who you're talking
Jason
about.
Lee like sticks his hand in his ass, and then like offers the one guy the sweaty chocolate covered pretzel.
Mm-hmm.
That shit was hilarious to me.
Mr.
Kevin
Spinney.
Smith trying to move the cigarette with his hand.
Yep.
I was like, dude, everybody has tried that at least. Well, we've all tried to be a Jedi at one point and think
we all have. Yeah. We all have.
So that one did stick out with me, but very much in the vein of what you're talking about, it was Orgasmo.
I
had grabbed that. I was like, I got to see this because I already knew what South Park was.
Yeah.
And I was like, I love South Park. And I'd never even heard of the movie. Like, I don't think anybody has, unless they've seen it sitting somewhere or are fans of South Park, Matt Stone, Trey Parker. Like, if you're fans of them, you may have heard of it.
Now, I wanted to jump in before you got too deep into that. I had heard, and you tell me if this is a fake memory that I'm making up myself, or is this actually true? It's like it was at the same time that they were kind of making South Park, but they got offers to make Basketball and Orgasmo, and they were like, they had nothing to do with South Park. Like South Park hadn't made it or nothing yet, but I think they made these independent of South Park, or do you have any other knowledge on that?
So from what I understand, Basketballs was made. That's a separate studio.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure who made Orgasmo. I know that it was their movie. Like they wrote it and directed it. Where Basketballs is something they kind of just acted in and helped with the script later on. Cannibal the Musical was done before South Park, and I think Orgasmo was made right while South Park was being what it was. Like the first 2 seasons, and that was it. Nobody really had it hadn't really blown up. Like I remember when it did, there was merch everywhere. Like you would walk into a Walden Software or an electronics boutique, or they would have plushies and keychains and every fucking thing you can get your hands on. So like I think Orgasmo was later and just didn't get any publicity. It got an NC-17 rating, so nobody pushed it. Nobody wanted to, you know what I mean? Because there's rubber penises all throughout that movie.
I'm going to screw you to death.
Yeah. There's
it doesn't make any sense out of context, but to me that scene was hilarious.
He in the middle of the movie somewhere, he's like, "Oh, you got a scene with T-Rex," and he goes, "Okay," and he's like, she comes out and it's this just huge woman with like this tiniest bikini on, and she walks up to the dude and she's like, "You're gonna make me come, or I'm gonna kick your butt." And it's like done in that almost Cartman voice too. And he's like, "Oh," and so she's just like, this woman is on top of him, like dry humping him, and she's like, "Oh yeah, come on, baby, come on." And like they zoom into his face, and his mind just goes. He's off in a meadow somewhere, running with his girlfriend in the horse. I was like, this movie's great. It's too good.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's too good. I can't believe it's like the South Park guys had so much traction those first couple of years. It was insane. South Park, the South Park movie, the Orgasmo movie, the basketball movie. It's like they were fucking everywhere, and then they were just like, you know what, we're stopping doing this extra stuff. We're just going to focus on South Park. So it's like there's like a hard line in the sand where you see that they were everywhere, and then they're like, fuck no, you're not going to see us ever again. We're just going to make the cartoon.
Yeah, I think it was like right after, I think their last movie is what, Team America World Police? And then I think they did a couple of stage plays that they wrote that went around for a little bit, and that was it. But it was like you said, they went right back to the bread and butter. This is what's paying our bills. Comedy Central and now Paramount has been showering them with more money.
Oh yeah,
that's the last edgiest thing that exists, and it exists from that era. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
they are uncancelable, and they get away with it. Still to this day, they'll get away with it.
Yeah, and, it's weird.
It's like doing Trump as Satan's girlfriend now, or husband, or whatever you want to say. Yeah, come on, yeah.
I mean, they're from that bygone era, and the only other thing like that is The Simpsons. But you know, I mean, we it's old hat to say it's like The Simpsons aren't as good as they used to. I think everyone on a planet had been saying it since like 1997. You know? So it's like it's kind of like complaining that MTV doesn't play music videos at this point. It's like, I was saying that in 97. You know?
Yeah, exactly. You know, when Teen Mom was on again for the third time. What else was? You know what? There was some good programming though. I'll say they had Syphil and Ollie. Do you remember that? It was the guy with the sock puppets.
Yeah, they even had that music video, the United States of Whatever.
Whatever. Yep, that's the guy. Mm-hmm. Yep. That I was a fan of his. Stephen Lynch.
Yeah.
His album isn't too bad. He does a couple other like fake Depeche Mode song, fake David Bowie song.
Oh.
And he sounds just like him, but it's all like period, you know, like I'm in space.
Now, also going back to these old times and stuff that you and Dylan talk about, the stuff from the early days of the internet that I think, you know, we all started watching at the same time, and almost like we all just like randomly discovered, like Angry Video Game Nerd. Like, I'll give you my super quick origin on that. It was literally just like, I'm just on YouTube and I just see it one day. It's probably 2005 or 2006, and it was hilarious. I was like, I got it instantly. It's a guy retroactively reviewing a video game, like basically using like today's, I don't know what you want to call it, parameters, and like using it, like, you know, mocking a game from the past, and I got it completely. And I thought those early videos were, you know, hilarious. And to me, it was like, I'm watching, I was really into it. And I felt like I was really more into it because it felt like, as far as I knew, he did it all himself. He had like some help from like Mike Matei and Bootsy and some other people in the beginning, but it seemed like he was doing it all himself, and it seemed all just real. I don't know how to put it other than that. It just felt real. And then once he went high def is, to me, where that's the line in the sand. I don't know if that's when it began, when he started like doing stuff with like Screenwave Media, but like to me, like when he went high definition, that's when the quality of how it looked went up. But that's not why we were watching. We didn't give a shit how it looked, but the quality of the show kind of went down, and I was just kind of disappointed. So I guess I was trying to get at like, what's your story with AVGN?
Somewhat similar. It doesn't go back that far, but I was watching him before he made that movie, and that was a little bit before. Like that's my line in the sand. It was right around then, because the production did get a little better, but I think him and his movie attempt broke him as a content creator.
Mm-hmm.
But I agree. We were watching it because it felt intimate, and he was covering things. Even if it wasn't the exact game you were talking about, the complaints that he had was all shit we suffered from.
Like Top Gun. Top Gun is the perfect example. I felt like that's me. That's me complaining about Top Gun.
Especially because I know I never landed that fucking plane. I could never land it because it says pull up, push down, slow up, slow down. And you're not even supposed to fucking pay attention to that at all. There's a second screen console that shows you you're on target and stay on target no matter what the fuck that thing says.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that until I saw his video. Like, I was like, holy shit, man. Maybe I'll play Top Gun again.
And then just to jump in before I forget, there's the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game. You're just supposed to walk over it. there's the gap. You're just supposed to walk over it.
Yeah. Because your character doesn't quite fall down. He just drops down for a second, but he keeps going. And yeah, that was another one. And the underwater one, like where you're swimming to de-arm the bombs. I hated that as a kid. That was too much. And then like he brings it up that episode. Beep 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 beep. And you're like, fuck man, I just gotta make it to the next spot. It's a timer. There's electric eels, or not eels, but like the foliage, whatever's under seaweeds. Fuck that game.
Yeah,
but but as a Nintendo kid, we all are like, fuck Nintendo games because they're super hard.
Yeah.
And between Nintendo and Atari, you would just get a cartridge. And if there was any like lore or instruction on how to play it, you were on your own. Unless you knew a friend who already had figured it out, or you had a nice, your mom was going to pay the phone bill, you weren't getting shit. I went to the library and that's where I would find things out. You know what I mean? Like there would be a tips and tricks or whatever in, the magazine rack. There would be a video game book, or kids at school those were, contraband coming in with the Mortal Kombat moves.
I think we're about to say the same thing. Like if you could get your parents to cough up the extra dollars, you might buy a strategy guide like a Prima, if a Prima was even available for whatever game you're talking about. And then the other option was like going to the library and like printing out game facts and then taking like that much printer paper home and just praying that the guy that wrote the game facts really could like paint a picture of what you were saying, because you didn't have a picture. You were reading this guy's words and you just had the hope that he could, really guide you. That's how I remember beating Resident Evil 2 was printing out a game facts from the library.
Dude, and that game's long. You got two scenarios. Okay. You're ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with your take on AVGN. It was much better when it was in it, and it was only him, Mike, and Bootsy. Bootsy was helping with content creation. Mike was doing the artwork and the thumbnails, and all three were collabing on writing.
And how it looked to me, it was like, okay, the production went up, and it wasn't immediate that like the quality went down, but it was starting to gradual. But there were some like gold mine things that they did, like the Mr. Bucket episode of whatever you called that sideshow he made. That was one of the funniest things I ever saw. Yeah, that thing was, I fucking loved that Mr. Bucket more than anything. I thought it was hilarious because I remembered the commercial. I remember making fun of that commercial to my friends. Put my balls in your mouth. What the fuck? What kind of game is this? And I remember that commercial did not play very long when I was a kid. It was around for a couple of weeks and just long enough for me and my friends to make fun of it. And poof, it was gone. And then they made it. And I like that. But I guess fast forwarding a bit, like, I kind of gave him a pass for a while. I never got so bent out of shape that I like joined that Reddit page or whatever it's called, like
the Truther,
something like that.
Cinemassacre Truth is what it's called.
But like, I never got that bent out of shape where I like joined it and like, fuck this fucking guy. How dare he get married and have kids and not make this fucking video game show for me? I never got that, man. I was just like, this isn't funny anymore. Especially after the movie, because like I can't put it in the words. I I don't know how to put it in the words, and maybe you and Dylan have already talked this to death anyway, so I don't know if you all are ever wanting to do another episode about, but that movie was just not funny, not for 1 second. I didn't crack one smile. I didn't get it. It didn't seem like it was the same universe that the nerd that I grew up on was in. It seemed to, it just didn't make any sense. It seemed like an alternate video game nerd universe. And not only that, it just wasn't good at all. I hated it.
All right. So Matt is also like in my wheelhouse for this one. Yeah. There's 2 movies that we got to watch. One, I haven't seen the Angry Video Game Nerd movie. I've only seen very, very little. And what I've seen and heard of is exactly what you're saying. It's not, they changed the lore for the film versus what was going on in the show. And basically what was going on in the subreddits was what you were just talking about. I don't like it anymore. The quality seems to have tapered off. What's going on? You would have been banned, and now we're over into the Cinemassacre Truth subreddit because they were policing so hard. So yeah, there are some people in there who do take it far too serious.
Oh yeah.
But there's a lot of people who are like me and just like Bimmy just needs to shave his head. He needs to, just do a few things to change it around, make it better. Just that. But it seems that James isn't amenable to any type of advice from his community, or he's being protected from it.
That was one big thing I wanted to talk to you and Dylan about at some point, and I'm gonna ask him the same thing too whenever we get on an AVG. Is like, does he just not know if any of these criticisms, like, is at some point did he like, you know what, I am never going to the YouTube comment section. He doesn't do live videos anyway, so he's never going to like look at a live chat. But did he consciously at some point say, I am never looking at the YouTube comments ever again? Like he saw like one rude comment and it like really killed his soul. So he's like, yeah, I'm just going to make what I'm going to make. Like, does he not know his weird comb over thing is like this? Just shave it. God damn it. It's weird. Just embrace it. Your hat made a loud noise.
I got markers. We're over here too.
Oh, it's like that's the loudest goddamn hat I've ever heard.
No, this is technically the office area, so there's like pencils and crayons and like bullshit around me to keep my brain going.
Yes, there's those things, and then there's like one other thing. I don't know if you all ever talked about it or not. In any video where he's acting and laughing, it's the worst thing on earth because you can tell that's fake actor. Ha 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 ha! It's the worst thing I've ever heard. I wish I could tell you the episode that I'm thinking of, but I was like, I don't know if I can watch this anymore.
I know the last few episodes that get respect out of the community is like the Leonard Nimoy one.
Yeah.
The Earthbound episode.
Very good. Yes.
Wait, and then he does start going to this weird shit later on where he has Lloyd Kaufman on, and Gilbert Gottfried did an episode, and a lot of green screen stuff.
Yeah.
There was a weird Shrek episode. Like, I don't think all of them landed as well as they should have. But do you remember this? And I'm going to ask Matt too, because he's a AVGN guy. There was a stretch where they were doing like rental reviews.
Yeah.
And another podcast, but it was in a plaza, and they were supposed to be paying rent to a guy. I swear to Christ, this happened. I'm not misremembering, but they were like, it's in the Voorhees Plaza on this street and blah blah blah.
Yeah, and that's how every episode would start up. It was like a fake commercial.
Would do like an 80s. Yeah. They would do like a fake 80s intros too, and it was like with Bimmy and Tony from Smack the Movies and Justin's Fat Face, and then it would like da-da-da-da, and then it would go into that storefront kind of thing, and they were trying to do a premise where there was a landlord and they were being
Yeah, I know who
Screenwave
you're
really
talking
came
about.
in hard and hot. They were trying to make some shit happen, and everybody's like, these fucking guys suck.
Yeah, that
So
actor that was like the landlord, I had seen him in a couple of like kind of like low budget horror comedy movies. So I
okay,
knew who that guy was. He was very just a small time like character actor. But yeah, he had that sash that said like landlord on it.
yes, okay.
So I was like, okay, that's funny.
And then they quickly abandoned it though. Like they were good. They were gonna be on board with a shtick, and they didn't stay with it as long. And I don't know if that was because of fan reaction or Bimmy reaction. I think he didn't like too much work going on.
Yeah, because well, I mean, the thing is, if you go back and watch it, because they're not, I mean, not every episode was good, not every episode was bad. Some of them, there was one that was like really excellent, and it's definitely not because of Bimmy. Bimmy never didn't make any episode good. In fact, he kind of drug it down because I've always had this. I'm trying to think of the words I'm trying to say here. Him being himself on camera, he can't do it. He is like he's a shy human being. Like on rental reviews, you can tell he's reserved and careful in how he talks. You know, he's not off the cuff at all. But almost everybody else is pretty fucking funny in the moment. And there was like the one they did on this movie called Rotor, and everybody else on that episode was excellent. It was one of the funniest things I'd seen them do, period. It was so good. In fact, I went and watched Rotor and sat through the whole goddamn thing just to laugh at it on my own. But I've always just had this feeling it's like this guy is more comfortable acting if he's in control of everything. If he's in control of everything, he can create some pretty good magic out of it. But if there's any involvement from anyone else, I think that like weird shyness comes into play and it like poo-poos it.
I can agree with that. Me and Dill watched a few of his short films, not the Six Snicks flicks, not that yet, but there was the Head Incident and then the Head Incident Returns. And I watched both of those back to back, and I expected the Head Incident Returns to be modern Bimmy and silly, and it wasn't. It actually fit pretty well, and it's like you said, if he's left to his own devices, he can make some shit. Yeah. And I stand behind that. Your observation is pretty good. I think that, yeah, when he gets into a group setting, he shuts down.
I mean,
isn't as forceful. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, you're fine. I'm the rude one. I don't know how to broadcast. But like I can attest to that because I've been like that too. It's like, you know, when someone invites me on a show and they have like 5 or 6 other guests, I don't know when to talk, and I don't know when it's my time to jump in, and I'll just hang out in the back sometimes. You know, I'll just like, unless I got a clear shot at the target, I'm not saying anything. So I can see him doing like about the same thing, because like the rental reviews people, all those guys, they all have pretty outgoing personalities, and you can tell he does not.
No, and that's what I mean. It's up to them to throw the ball to him underhanded, toss it to him.
Like, what did you think about this, Bimmy? You know,
exactly. And those guys were already friends prior to becoming James's friend, employee / group people. You know, they were really trying to befriend him, and we're going to work together. We'll get a rhythm. And James doesn't, like you said, he's not an off the cuff kind of guy. Mm-hmm. So, you know, he has his thoughts and ideas, but you need to give him the avenue to express them. And they tried with the Cinemassacre podcast, which is something I need to go back. But Kieran and Justin tried with them, and it's that other thing you were saying. He's just yep. Oh yeah, he's not really giving them anything to keep the conversation going. Like
I agree.
He's right. It's just that. Oh yeah, that was good. Well, what was your personal experience with it, dude? Give us something to work with. You're not open up to a little bit, and I think he just didn't get to that point where he felt that comfortable with them. I don't think he's ever had another good friend like Mike and Bootsy.
No, and because of what happened to the world in 2020, that's why rental reviews quit. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, it was probably going to quit around the same time anyway. Something in my gut tells me he was probably going to find a way to pull the plug on it soon. But when 2020 happened, if you go back and watch those from that era, you can see the writing on the wall. Yes, this is coming to the end. You know, because I mean, Tony ended up basically just inheriting that like studio space for his show. So I used to watch him all the time too. I mean, I don't know if you'd be interested in this, but you have to pretend to be interested in what I'm about to say because this is my stream.
It's my show. It's my show, and you will be interested in my show.
You will be enthralled by the words, by the song that I'm going to sing to the world. But like, okay, so this is. I've always tried to tell people this about me. It's like I can't do a live stream by myself. I've had some people like in real life, in really real life, I'm the funny guy. And everybody, and like you've probably heard this about yourself too. Y'all, you should do stand-up comedy. I'm like, yeah, but I can't write. Like I'm a funny guy in real life, off the cuff. But that changes when you're on camera. Even right now, I feel totally comfortable with you. I feel like we're old friends from 20 years back. But like still, even that, we're not in person because we've got to listen to make sure we're not talking over one another because there could be an audience and then and we got to think about we're not two buddies at Wendy's bullshitting while we're looking at traffic or checking out girls' asses and shit. But like in real life, I've been told I'm the funny guy. You should be a comic, yada yada yada. I'm like, yeah, that's not for me. I can't write like that anyway. I could write, but how could I make it type? But enough about that. And then people tell me in this universe and in real life, it's like you should just do your own stream and just talk to the camera like Anthony Cumia does. I'm like, that's fucking easier said than goddamn done. Like he can just turn on the camera and do nothing but talk to the camera, just him and the camera, and go an hour and 90 minutes. And it's like 90 minutes of pure heaven. And that's just, that's a once in a lifetime human like that. And, but I guess what I'm kind of getting at with that is like more of my backstory. What I try to tell people is like, oh God, this is again the tree scenario where I branch off too many times and I get lost in my own thoughts. Part of my backstory is like around that time when I was like, I was kind of thinking a little bit about developing a character and doing it. And I was like, but what am I going to do? And like, so parts of it was, well, I'm a crazy guy. I'm a legitimate crazy guy. I gotta take maintenance meds. So I'm just weird as opposed to a crazy person getting locked up. So I'm like, all right. So I got that going for me. Right. And I like DC comics, wrestling. I can talk about that. I can talk about that nonstop. So, all right. So I'll do like a Joker Harley Quinn thing. Like the Joker was so in love with the Harley Quinn, he couldn't get her. He called himself Harley Quinn. So I was like, I'm trying to develop like this like fake story in my head. Like, okay, I'm going to call myself Dr. Harley Quinn because I like the alliteration. And I was like, and if I stick with a kayfabe fake story, what's it going to be? So I was like always kind of dreaming up what that would be. Like I had this lost love that I lost. So I called myself her. Well, I abandoned that a long time ago. I was like, I'm not doing that. That's too much work. And I don't think anyone will get it.
That's got to be careful. That was going back down to the root of the tree a little bit.
Yeah.
I was posting videos for a while and it just seemed like it was more work than it was worth what people were seeing, I would make something and it would take me an hour and a half, 2 hours to make, and like 5 people would watch it. I'm like,
and that's a
then it would
punch
take
in
me
the
3
gut.
hours to make something longer and only 10 people would watch it. I'm like, this isn't really getting me traction. I got lucky in that way. Like, people showed up to come hang out. If I was just sitting there playing Family Feud by myself and nobody was in the chat, it's boring. Because then I just gotta fucking keep going. You know, I gotta find. And luckily enough that you see it, the game's janky enough that I can fucking act up every now and again because it stiffs me, straight up stiffs me. And I'm already thinking about it. I'm starting to get into that again where I get riled up. I almost train myself to be, you know, a little more over emotional about things that aren't really that, but I can also calm myself back down. And that was, we were talking, when you and I first spoke, that was one of the things we talked about, was being on anti-crazy meds and people trying to tell you, you know, calm down, but, you know, blah, blah, blah. And, yeah. I tapered myself off of mine, and yeah, man, you know, if you get it, hopefully you got a good doctor who's trying to diagnose you properly. The first thing that they came at me with was like general anxiety and possibly PTSD, and so but really that's why I started doing this, because this is talk therapy for me. Hanging out with you and just shooting the shit works great. It keeps me from, you know, swinging from the rafters.
That's what I try to tell people. It's like, this is what I want to do, is I just want to sit down and have conversations with people, because it's, you said it better than I could. It's like therapy for me. It's like free therapy for me. Even if we're just talking about Ben Stiller show. Hey, this is a couple hours out of my life where I'm not in my own head thinking the whole world's out to get me. I'm not in my own head. It's like, is that person outside my window real, or am I imagining that person? You know? So,
or, you know, like you said, there's definitely that I get is a paranoia that, like, you know, just I feel like the world is deliberately shitting on me.
Oh yeah, that
you know, you know what I mean. So, like you made a good example earlier. We could be sitting at a Wendy's just fucking shooting the shit, looking at traffic drive by, and like, look at this fucking asshole, and make a good joke and make each other laugh. I agree. I can't sit down and write a joke. Like, Matt has a guy that I should be making fun of much more, but then it's like I get there and it's like, what do I want to say? Oh, Shuck and Corny is another good one. I want to be funny in my response because I want to make you guys laugh, and then I start overthinking it. Whereas if we were all sitting in a circle, it would just come out and either be funny or not funny, you know. So there is a difference, but it's not difference. It works though. So like, we get to make each other laugh, we get to act a little silly. We do shit like this, you know. I was super flattered. You're like, oh, let's hang out, man. I'm really happy that you started doing your own stream. You know,
if we end up having 5 total viewers or 500, it's same difference to me. I guess I've been wanting to talk to you for a while, but we're all, again, I say hive mind a lot. I think we all are kind of the same, where we're like, I want to hang out with this new person. I think he's kind of like me, but I don't want to badger them. I don't want to email them too much, or, you know, chat them too much. I don't want them to think I'm weird, because I'm sure you've had the opposite happen to you, where I'm trying to think of a better word to say. Like a man crush, like someone really wants to be your fucking friend, and then they start DMing you 40 times a day. And you're like, okay, I'm supposed to be the crazy one on the meds, and ain't one motherfucker on the planet that can say they got 40 DMs for me. I'm very careful with my DM currency. I'm very tight with that.
Yeah, no, that was another thing. Like, I heard you say, and it was kind of sort of in passing, you were like, if anybody wants to help me out with my stream, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, I can help. Because I had just been helping somebody else. Yeah. And I was in that mind frame. In fact, I'm going to name drop. The Pineapple asked me to help him out. My friend Annie, she asked me to help her out with some stuff. We worked on some stuff together. And so it was fresh in my mind. And you're like, oh, I need to learn how to set up my Streamlabs and blah, blah, blah. And so I'm like, hey, man, anytime you need any help. And you're like, oh, this guy's fucking DMing me after 3 sentences. I got to be careful. Like, that's what I thought. You know, because like what you just said, I don't want to be that guy, but I do want to. I will throw a quick reach out to, like, say, hey, man, yeah, I enjoy your company, you know, that kind of thing. And if you ever want to, here's another good example in the reverse is like, I would love to go on Pat Dixon's show and hang out and talk with Pat all night.
Yeah.
You know, because like I feel like that is something I could do, and I don't want to ask him because that seems like I'm asking him to go on his show. I don't want to do that, you know. And
Did you ever see me on his show?
that's what did you go on his show? Did he have you on?
I was on his show like a motherfucker last year.
Oh, really? See, like,
yeah.
Like I was watching him off and on, and like through the MLC stuff, and then he went to Rumble, and that's when I really started watching. Is after he got kicked off of YouTube, and then went back to was relegated to Rumble.
Yeah,
like, fuck, man,
I'll tell you that. I'll tell you that story real quick. I mean, it's nothing salacious or anything. It's like there was one show I was watching live, and he kind of said something to the audience, and I'm in the audience, and he was like, well, I mean, if anyone's wanting to come on tomorrow, just let me know. And I was like, fuck it, I will. And this is again part of like my origin story. Like his show was the first one that I decided to do in the dabble verse, where I'm in paint. Now I've been doing paint shit for years and years and years, but nothing to do with this goddamn dabble verse, hat verse, or anything. It had been in like the wrestling universe and DC universe, shit like that. But I hadn't done anything on camera in this dabble verse, so I was like, fuck it, I will. And he knew me from like sending in chats and stuff, and thought I was pretty funny. She's like, okay, I'll take a chance on him. And he could tell he was taken aback once he saw me backstage, because I had some of my good shit on too. I had this straight jacket that I made from a show, and I had a bulletproof vest on over the straight jacket. And then I'm in paint, and I had orange gloves.
That's right out. Like, the fuck is going on with this guy? Because Pat does come off fairly like level-headed.
Yeah.
So that would be like, oh, hello, what did I get myself into?
I think that was part of the allure, I guess. Was like, oh, I guess he was like wanting to just talk to someone. It's like totally, because I've described him as a serious comedian. Like he's like, is he serious about me? So I think maybe he was just wanting to talk to people that just weren't like him at all, or something like that. But I was on there a lot. I don't know why, but he at one point he quit asking me to come on. I never badgered him to come on. I will say that to the universe. I did the first time. I was like, hey, would you like me to come on? And after that, I would just wait to see if he wanted me to, and he'd send me a message like, hey, you want to come on tonight? I'm like, fuck yeah, I'll come on. I just like the bullshit. I think he's a good guy, because like one time, okay, I mean, and this is out there, so I'm not going to hide from it, but like, if somebody really wanted to dig into it, but there was a night I wasn't doing good. I wasn't taking my meds, and I was drinking, which is the worst combination. Most people say you took your meds and drank, and that's the worst combination. No, for me, not taking meds and drinking is the worst. And like, I think I picked up my phone and randomly called him. And he was live.
Oh boy.
He was talking to me live on the air, and I'm pretty sure, and again, I know for YouTube, I gotta be careful. I think I was sounding like I was wanting to visit the unalive forest, I think.
It could be.
And it wasn't good, but I always will have him put into the good guy territory, because he checked in on me randomly after that, and it wasn't part of like a show or anything. It wasn't like, hello guys, I'm live on the air. I want everybody to know I'm a good person. I'm going to check in on that Dr. Harley Quinn, make sure that they're in the alive forest and not the unalive forest. Hey, are you there? Are you alive? Okay, goodbye. Yeah, he checked in on me. Yeah, he checked in on me for real, like a real human would do. So I'm like, he's a good man. So I always
could
have
see
him.
Chad doing that,
no.
like calling you to online, like on his podcast. Oh, I'm going to check in on Dr. Harley Quinn right now and see if he's any good.
But only if I'm live. Send in a super chat. I don't care about super chats, but send in a super chat. Let me read off the $100 sponsors.
And that's the thing. Like Pat is aware of people he wants to have around. He left a comment on a video at random about playing cards.
Oh, cool.
Like
Yeah.
not yesterday or the day, maybe the day before, maybe it was Saturday. But like, here's what here I'll give you the rundown of what happened.
Yeah.
Karmic was going through his shit, and I had been trolling him pretty hard at that point, and
Okay.
Pat was like, "Well, I'm going to have you on sometime so we can talk about it," and blah blah blah. And he's like, "Well, how about this Friday?" And I was like, "All right, great, no worries." And then he was like, "Shit came up. I can't do it this Friday. I'll get in touch." And ever since then, I kind of been in and out of his chats. You know, I'm definitely like I big brother Taz a lot. Like she's definitely a kid sister to
She's
me.
a great girl. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so like he knows that I'm good friends with her. I like Doug. I'll be in Doug's chats from time to time. But what the timing went away, and so
Yeah.
you know like so like I understand that, and I hope that he like you know smart people understand that things need to be done in a certain time and being at an appropriate time. And one of the other things that he mentioned that I'm trying to get, I don't know, I'm just floating the idea for the most part, but there was a dabble court for a split second. Cardiff tried it for one episode. It didn't pan out.
Yeah.
And then I saw a Pat Dixon, Mr. Kill Everything Mazzy stream. I don't know
Yep.
if you saw that.
Well,
But
that
Pat
was
Dixon-
what I was going to interject with. He did ask me to come back and do his stream that week. And he canceled me because I think it was because he got the okay from them that they wanted to come on. Now that might not be it. I'm not swearing on a stack of Bibles. That's exactly what happened. But like he is like, hey man, you want to come back and do the stream? I don't know, Wednesday. I was like, sure. And he's like, sorry, things came up. I was like, all right, just let me know. I'll come on. But I hadn't heard from them. But no, me and him has never had a crossword. It's just timing.
And that was the show idea is like, because of that, like I had the idea floating around prior to, but watching Pat with Mr. Kill Everything and give him the grill like that, like he was straight up doing prosecutor work. Like, so what do you think about this? And then, so does that lead into that? And he was really grilling him and getting, I almost said his name was Mike. I don't think it was really, but anywho, like was getting him to be a little more self-aware about how he was behaving online and how that affects people he's not directly directly interacting with. You know, I can sit here and talk shit on anybody, and that might lead somebody else in the chat to tell that and start wrecking other people's life. Like, you know, I can't be talking about KB's boobs and cleavage. She's heard enough of that, and she doesn't want to hear me do it. So somebody's going to clip it and send it to her 10 times, and that becomes a problem. So, you know, Pat was trying to get Mr. Kill Everything to understand that.
Yeah, I mean, I know what you're getting at with like the stuff that he said about Mazzy out loud. You know, you got to remember, it's like once you say it on the internet, it's there forever. So, like, if you're being, you know, nasty about like a girl in the dabble verse, even if it's your ex-girlfriend, I mean, now that you said it, it's out there forever that you said it. You can't take it back. You know, you can't retcon this shit like the movies. You know, so
and then it starts to form a public opinion too. You know, you're shit talking somebody that can't defend themselves, and other people see that.
Because you're having a one-sided conversation. Like if I was shit talking you and you're not on the show right now, I mean it's one-sided. Because I mean, what's the best that you can do? Is like leave a comment because.
And then a response video, right? Like I can just go make a video on my channel, like, oh, Dr. Harley Quinn, I shake my fist at you.
Yeah. So I mean, there's that, but you know, so yeah, I get that, and people need to take more responsibility, like especially being like nasty with these girls. That you know, do you want girls in the Dabbleverse, Hackverse? We won't be fucking gross to them, okay? Make them laugh,
shit, right?
Yeah, make them laugh, ball bust. But don't be nasty. Don't be sending DMs, you know, and you know what I'm getting at.
Yeah. Real quick, to address Matt, I like the term UHF channels for our level of podcasting.
Yeah.
Dylan came up with that. And Matt, be a pest, man, because exactly I need friends like you who are somewhat pestified that aren't afraid to send that email. Hey, dude, we're going to do something this weekend. I'll be like, okay, I'll make plans with you. Same with you, Doc. Just be like, hey, if you want to do something this week, let me know, and then I'll get back to you. But I don't always reach out. like,
Yeah.
hey, what's going on, buddy? How you doing? Unless like that, so like you said with Pat, if I see something or hear you say something that's a little concerning to me, I'll be like, hey, you doing all right? Let me check up on you. Because I'm not afraid, I really appreciate a lot of you guys. Well, I appreciate everybody who's cool with me. Anybody who's like trying to troll me, fuck off.
We're not gonna
But
go. We're not gonna go out of our way to.
right, exactly.
Even people like
But
I mean, I'm just because again I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Like I've always been cool with the final boss. Like I see that he was in the chat a little earlier. I don't know if he's still here. Like I've always gotten along with him. No, a lot of people don't, but I can only tell you my point of reference with final boss. He's always been cool with me, so I'm like,
yeah, no, I get it. I'm definitely in that camp where I try to be cool with everybody. Also, it can get me into trouble because there's like a couple of guys like Ava, right? So, like made trouble on Clown Town, got banned with Stealth Chaos, blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
I'm all right with Stealth Chaos. We don't really talk that much. I'm pretty good with Ava. We get along fairly well. But I'm also friends with people who were mean to her, like straight up just being mean, and I gotta let it happen, even though I'm friendly with both people. I just kind of gotta take a step back and let them.
Well, it's not
hopefully they understand that I'm not trying to interfere with other relationships.
I think I got a slam dunk thing that you can steal from me. We're not put on this planet to police how other people act to other people. If I'm your friend, but I'm also friend with your enemy, we'll just use Final Boss for example. If Final Boss was your enemy and I'm cool with him, it's like it's not up. I'm not put on this earth to make choices about like, oh, I'm going to be only one of your two friends. If I'm going to be both of your friends, I'm going to be both of your friends. And I'm not here to also be like the peacemaker either, I think I can.
Agree.
Sure. Maybe I'll say something like, hey, they're not so bad. Why don't you give them a chance? But like if you can clearly see, like we see in the Dabbleverse every day, it's like this person is not like this person, and there is nothing going to happen between it. I ain't getting involved. I don't care. That takes me back to like way back. Like I don't like doing the shows when there's like 50 people on the screen and there's a fucking fight going on. It makes me very uncomfortable. I don't like it. It's not fun. That's why I think
if I know that's what the show is, I'm fine with it. Like that's why you see me on BYB. I know what I'm coming into there. Like I expect some fighting. Just this past Wednesday, that's what was going on. That's what I was referencing. It was GGG, Gay Guitar Guy, and Awa were going at it a little bit. Okay. And I'm good with him because we're Discord rats, and I'm good with her because she's been on the show a few times and we gel, so it works out okay. But he's picking on her for being trans, and she's coming at him for being a single dad. I'm like, I don't know anything about either one of these subjects, so I'm just going to sit here and be quiet and let these two work it out. And then after the show, GGG had to split, but after the show, Alba was like, "Are you guys all right with that? Did that make anybody?" I was like, "Dude, that's what we're here for. Actually, this show is for getting riled up and yelling at stuff that's stupid."
Yeah, it is more of a conflict show. If you're going on that show, you know what you're signing up for. It's not going to be the friendship everybody gets along show.
Right. And as long as again, if you know you're walking into a lion's den type of thing, I'm not trying to say we're all tough guys over there or anything like that, but you like this, I can do this because I know we're going to riff and it's going to be all right, even if it gets a little awkward depending on the subject. Like that's the worst case is where it's a little silent for too long, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's the worst, and it's the internet. It's free. It's YouTube. We're just here shitting around and whatever. But which was the first show that you came on screen for? I'm not sure. I don't remember if I got the answer to that. What was the first show that you did on screen?
It was Successful Failures was the name of the show, and I did it with Dylan, and we watched Saturday TV Funhouse. We did 6 episodes of that. I'm pretty sure that's still up. We watched movies. We like watch the movie, and I would take notes to talk about certain scenes and make points on it. And we would show clips, and that's what was the problem. Is like even with a 5-second clip of a film, YouTube's like, no,
yeah,
so that got put a little bit on hiatus because he was doing a lot of work, cutting clips for not a lot of views. Not it was literally just us doing something we were passionate about, and it turns out nobody really cared that much.
Yeah, that hurts when that happens. I know what you're getting at with that. Like I had done that same stuff too. Like, I mean, this is like going like way back in time where I remember back when I was good at this shit, like video editing, and now the technology has changed so much. I'm like, I don't care anymore. I'm not gonna fuck with it. But like, I remember making clips of stuff, nothing to do with dabble version anything, and putting it on an old YouTube channel I had, and it would get like 20 views and 0 comments.
Big fat 0.
God.
There would be views and there would be a good chat. But sometimes YouTube would just be like, you can't keep this up because it's got copyright material. So like it would go to waste after that.
Yeah.
Like dude would put the effort into cutting clips, and we would spend an hour and a half, 2 hours riffing over this movie we just watched. And the people that enjoyed it got to enjoy it, but then it would be gone right after.
Okay.
You know, because YouTube was like, copyright. And so there was like no evergreen from it.
Oh,
which
okay.
was more of an idea too, you know, like, because you can go back and watch somebody do a review, whether it was live or not. It just didn't. It was more work for not enough reward. It was more of us having fun, and at that time he was doing a lot of other things too, so it got put on the back burner. And now we kind of just hang out and do the watch along. Tuesday night, tomorrow night, probably around 11. Well, at 11, we'll be on YouTube for about an hour, and then we'll jump over to Rumble and do Tales from the Crypt and Chris Elliott. So that's what that evolved into. But that's the name of the show was Successful Failures. It was about cult classic stuff. I didn't get around to Orgasmo. That was on the list. Office Space was on the list.
Oh, God, yes.
That's probably one of my... That movie is the movie that made me realize who I was, kind of, in a way. Like
Office Space?
Yeah, where he goes to the therapist and he gets put under, and he's like, I'm just not going to work anymore. I'm not going to pay my bills. I'm not going to do... I don't want to do that either.
Would you say today is the worst day of your life?
Yes.
Wow, that's messed up.
Yeah. That's from the therapist. He's like, that's messed up.
That's messed up. I think I can help.
But that was how I felt, though. Like, every day is the worst day of my life. Every time you see me, I'm having the worst day of my life.
Yep.
And he explained working the way I feel about working. Employers give you just enough incentives so you don't quit.
Oh, yeah.
You know? I work just hard enough to not lose my job. And that's how I felt when I saw that. And so that philosophy is like baked in now.
I feel like
for myself shortly after, you know?
Yeah, and I feel like where I'm becoming an elder statesman where I'm at right now. And I try to kind of tell the younger people that I work with, it's like, you literally just need to do what you're told and nothing else. You need to keep your mouth shut and do your work, and just don't be noticed. Just don't be noticed. And then, you know, if you work in person, go home at the end of the day. Don't suck up. Don't be the look at me guy. Don't be the, hey, I'd like to get more responsibility on my plate. Don't be that guy, because what you're going to get is extra work with no extra pay and resentment from your fellow coworkers. And I try to tell that to some of the people I work with, and they look at me like I'm crazy. And I even try to say that, and I hate that I'm saying it. I try to say, I was your age once, and I know why you think the way you think. And I know why you think I'm nuts for, well, they don't see me in the paint, but I know why you think I'm nuts for telling you that maybe you shouldn't work your ass off and ask for extra work and assignments and this, that, and the other. It's like, you're good. If we get laid off, you're getting laid off the same day I am. So all you do is work your ass off until you get laid off. Or you can be like me and just hide in the background. Because, like, I can tell you this without doxing myself, where I work at, my fucking boss loves me. I don't message my boss ever. I never call my boss. I never message my boss. All my coworkers message and call the boss nonstop. I have a weekly one-on-one with my boss, and every week it's exactly the same thing. It goes like this. Oh, Harley. Yeah, don't have a lot to go into this week. Just keep doing what you're doing. You got anything for me? All right. Well, I'll let you get back to it. Had my quarterly. Well, it's actually half yearly. I don't know what that's called, but they called it a quarterly, even though it's not. And they were like, my boss, this is how it went. It went in slow motion. My boss goes, Harley, you need to do a better job of promoting what a good job you do around here. You see, you didn't give me a lot to work with on your self evaluation.
Eval. Yep.
And I had to basically write your eval for you. And then she went on to say, you're doing a great job, yada, yada. You're in line to get a, pretty good raise this year and bonus, yada, yada, yada. And she said the quiet part out loud where it's like, you don't call me and message me every day. You leave me the fuck alone. And she knows that I'm just going to do my work. And it'll get done, and she don't have to worry about it. But everybody else, I'm like, and they don't get it. They think they've got to be that. I've got an idea how to make the business better, and the boss don't want that. The boss just wants you to get your fucking work done. I don't know how I agree with that. Man. I'm sorry, I don't know how I got onto that. I'm just going to blame the bucket of pills and the ice pack.
I forgot how we got there, but I agree with you because I've been through that. Like I've been rewarded with responsibility because I was a hard worker, and the responsibility shows up, but the pay don't. And like you said, when it's time to go, they're gonna fucking put you right out the door, just as like anybody else. Doesn't matter if you are making the most money or the least amount of money. There's no work. There's no work. So pace yourself. You're going to get old someday. Pace yourself.
Pace yourself. I mean, I tell them the funny version is like, you can step out the front door and get hit by a bus tomorrow. So, at least if I get hit by a bus as I'm dying, I'm like, at least I didn't work myself into an early grave. At least I got killed by this fucking bus.
Doc, there is a sink full of dirty dishes in my kitchen because if I wind up in the hospital with a heart attack, it will be a relief that I didn't wash my dishes before I died. I didn't waste my time washing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I got one more game of Tetris in because I didn't do my dishes or make my bed. I got one more go on the internet because my floor isn't mopped. That kind of thing. I'm a slob because I'm a single man first and foremost, but that is how I feel about work and chores and stuff. It's like I will put it off until it's mandatory because if I die in between now and then, it will make me feel like I won at life.
My floor is covered in HDMI and USB-C cables, and I don't know why. And they're gonna be there when the coroner comes and picks up my body. It's like it's gonna be someone else's problem. I don't know why I put them there, but they've been there for a few decades. But no, I know how I got onto that because like it's just like going back like what I was gonna do with like the origin story is going to feed into like the craziness a little bit, and it does tie into AVGN and to this fucking dabble verse a little bit because like, okay, so going back to the beginning of the pandemic, right? So rental reviews is pretty much done, but I got a kick out of that Tony guy from Hack the Movies. I got a little bit of a kick out of him. We'll be right back. Did you die?
No, I'm still here. I said I'm listening. I just
I know what you did. You did the trick.
I'm trying to like make sure I don't promote too much stuff.
I know what you meant. Now I get it.
Sorry. But no, I agree. Tony's also, he was probably one of the more talented people at Screenwave. Like you said, naturally, just conversationalist.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. All right, go ahead.
So I was watching his shit for a while, and I was like, and I'm on mine, and I'm like, I'm trying to develop, like, if I ever start doing some bullshit on the internet, I need to kind of develop like a little bit of a character or whatever. So I thought when I was watching him for a while, and I was like, you know what? I wonder if anyone's ever done an obsessed fan. So I was like, that might have something to it. So I started like bugging him, not in DMs, but I would like bug him all the time in like the chats and stuff because I was trying to get across an obsessed fan gimmick. And he even like
Okay.
put out some merchandise, and I was like, "Oh, this will be funny." So like he got some merchandise out, and I bought some, and I put a bunch of candles around it, and I did my face up, and I was like making it look like I was worshiping a devil around a Tony from Hack the Movie shirt on the floor.
You could get the Tony in a Baphomet type of position where he's sitting cross-legged with his hands up and shit. That would have been great. Yeah, no, I see where you're going with. That's great.
So I was doing that for a while, but I was like, but the payoffs I was getting, it was like if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. I mean, he was I think he knew what I was doing, and he was giving me props every now and then by like shouting me out on the shows and stuff. But like it wasn't getting me anywhere. He wasn't like going, "All right, I get what you're doing. You're pretty funny. Do you want to come on the show sometime?" or something like that. So for about a good year there, if you go back to like the year of our Lord 2021, you'll see Dr. Harley Quinn come up a lot on Tony from Hack the Movies. But then I was like, I liked the guy, but I gotta stop this. This isn't getting me anywhere. But he was kind of he's kind of, it's very loosely, but he's got some connected tissue to this dabble verse too. There's a couple of people like that. Yeah. The WATP guys, I think, have done his show, and he's done them and whatnot. I'd always like to just sit down and bullshit with him on it, because I did want to one time just make sure it's like, just go, Tony, you know I was working, don't you, brother? You know I wasn't really obsessed with you or anything. You know, I was just having a laugh.
I'll be honest. He probably was flattered at first, and then he was like, "Oh, this might be getting a little weird."
Yeah, it probably was.
But
he still follows me.
And Matt does the same thing with the Stances with Ghost Guy. Was that who he did the obsessed fan thing with? There in chat, Matt Hebner. I can't remember who he had the shrine for, but I remember seeing a video that I think he did that also, like, you followed him around the house and he walked up on a shrine with a bunch of candles around.
Matt Hebner. Okay, yeah.
I
see that in the
you gotta
chat
remind
too.
Them. You gotta remind people it's fake, otherwise they get scared.
Yeah, I mean, I thought I did it. I'm 90% sure I did it in a way with him that he knew I was working, because. But I've never had verbal confirmation like, "Oh, hey Harley, I know you were just doing a character, trying to help out my own way." But what was funny, I mean, because like recently, the last time I moved, like I saw the shirt that I bought from him of him. He was wearing the crown. It was the crown like the girl from Twin Peaks wore. You know, the girl that gets killed.
The tiara? Yeah.
He's wearing the tiara. That's what I used for my obsessed fan with candles all around. I was like, So I did that. And I was like, I'm not going to do the obsessed fan gimmick ever again. It's just too much work with not enough pay. But I'd love to hear, I don't know, Matt Hebner, maybe this should be your introduction to coming on camera one day. You know, you should come on one of our streams or something and tell us what you did.
Yeah, I am interested to find out a little bit more of his history. Like, I know who he's been trolling, and he does post videos on his channel from time to time making fun of some people. And it blew my mind that you were right there with the AVGN stuff. And you're like, "Oh, I know who that is." You know, I reviewed his book chapter by chapter. It is the worst thing I've ever read in my life, but it did give me insight into who James Rolfe was and why he is the way he is. And I agree with you. There was a turning point for him. There's a line in the sand. I'll quote him because I know he said it. He's like, he streamlined it so he can bang the episodes out, and he is trying to do it in the path of least resistance, like minimal effort, maximum profit. I'm paraphrasing that part, but That's what he was doing. I just want to crank. He did say this: crank them out, crank them out. And when I hear that, as somebody who's worked in production, crank them out means get it done as fast as you fucking can. We need to make this money. Quality doesn't matter anymore. It's quantity. Crank them out means quantity. And that was it for me. I was like, all right, I'm done.
And it's not like it's not like there's a ton of quantity is the thing. It's not like he started doing like weekly, things or anything like that. I mean, if you're not counting those failed things like that awful podcast thing that I know I listened to, and I know I seem to recall it just being let's pat ourselves on the back for what a great job we're doing. I'm like, ugh. I'm not going to listen to that. No, thank you.
Well, and I'm going to flip it on you again because I got questions. I can't. It went by, but what do you think of the Karmic X situation currently? But first, before we get to that, what do you think of Bimmy's band, Rex Viper?
That's embarrassing. That is truly an embarrassing. This is another one of those things. I just think no one would. He's not going to seek out that this is a bad idea, and no one is going to tell him it's a bad idea. There's this old saying, like, no one wants to tell the president they got mustard on their chin. So he probably said he wants to do it, and everybody was like, that sounds like a great idea as long as I can get in on it and make some money myself.
And that did start out that way. Fat Justin was in the band for about 6 months before they kicked him out.
Yeah. And I heard the songs, and they were just embarrassing. Like they were like a parody of a parody of a parody of a parody of glam rock. Like, right. This is not funny at all. Not if they were meant to be funny, they failed miserably.
See, that's the thing. I think there is no humor, and that's why it sucks. It just seems like they're mashing up songs to do, and they're taking it serious. And that's where I find it funny, is because they are taking themselves so serious. There's no comedy there.
Now, yeah, I mean, I don't know. It was a bad idea. I mean, did he ever quit doing it?
Nope. Still doing it. He's post. Oh, and we'll go to circle back around a bit. I know the Rex Viper comments on the Rex Viper YouTube channel is deliberately being scrubbed. Like they put out a video fairly recent, maybe a few weeks back. And there were a few like, ugh, this stinks. And then like hours later, it was like, wow, man, this is the greatest band ever. I think Bimmy's so inspiring. Like all those comments stayed, but everything else that was critical of the band gets removed. So yeah. Bimmy is not aware.
I mean, they just may as well just turn comments off. I mean, if they have enough self-awareness, they should just do that. It was like the people that put out music videos in the middle of COVID when you could, oh shit, now I'm going to get shadow banned. I said the bad word. Not that it matters, but like, it's like those bands that put out music videos during the cough of 2020, 2021, when you could tell it was only one person in that room at a time. And then they would put it together and you're like, this is obviously done to social distance, and it just gave off a yuck feeling. Like, oh, you can tell none of these guys are anywhere near one another. This is yucky. And like you'd go to the comments are turned off. And I saw one recently where people were still acting like that, like all the musicians filmed their parts completely separate from one another. I'm like, dude, it's 2025. Even the hard left liberals have got to, like, I think it's time.
They're over it, I think. Yeah. I'll be honest. I don't see anybody wearing masks anymore.
I still do.
Time to time, do you catch one? In my case, I will say this: you probably is older ladies in my area that are still continuing to wear the elderly people are like, I don't want to die, and they cover their face. But for the most part, everybody seems to be over it here, and I appreciate that. I do. For the most
part, it's done here, but the ones that you still see it, they either fall into the category of this is clearly an older person, like you said, that just doesn't want to catch anything. They're not they mask anyway. And then the younger people that are wearing it as a dog whistle, like I'm wearing this just so you know which way I voted. Just so you know. And but before we forget, like the current karmic situation. Now, which current one are we talking about?
That's what I was. I was gonna defer to Chad about that, but I'm pretty sure it's the Gilly stuff. Like he's on a date right now, as far as I know. Like
today,
this weekend. It was this weekend. They were supposed to spend time together.
What I gotta say about that is, like, I know about how they went on their date like a week or so ago, because they were at that like hotel room and shit together. And I was just kind of laughing to myself, thinking, how much do you gotta hate a motherfucker to where two people will go fuck because they hate? I mean, that's a fucking. That's what. If anyone's gonna clip anything, clip that and send it to Pat motherfucking Dixon. You got two people that hate you so goddamn bad they fucked in your dishonor.
Yeah, right? Oh shit, dude, they hate fucked over Dixon. That's so funny to me. And that was, dude, not only did they hate fuck, he couldn't even come. Like, either he had his brain blocked because of certain things, or it was just that bad. Like, all around for both of them.
I'm sorry if I'm laughing too hard in your ear. I don't know about microphone placement.
You're fine. No, I'm just, because you're right, dude. They fucked out of anger to get back at a guy, and it did not go well for either one of them. It was just, well, chef's kiss. They tried to get revenge, and it just made them both. I don't know how Karmic came out of looking like he came out of a conversation of fucking a girl and looked more gay afterward. How does that happen?
Make him look good. I mean, okay. I'll just say it. If I'd have been in that situation and the whiskey dick thing happened, I would have had a conversation with the girl and said, we can't fucking tell anybody that this happened. We got to go onto these shows and say we fucked like, we fucked like we both just got out of prison. We covered that.
Should have happened.
That's what should have happened. But like, if anything, they should have at least worked it and said, like, we were coming and jizzing and squirting everywhere. I mean, they had to condemn that entire hotel. I'd have never let it get out that I had whiskey dick.
That's what I'm saying. And the other comment that stuck out to me is that Felicia said Karmic went down on her for like 45 minutes. 45 minutes. I guess it's either passionate or poor performance. I'm not sure which, but she wasn't having anything. Like, somebody mentioned it before. Like, you get the head tap after a while. They're like, all right, buddy, you did good.
Yeah,
come on back up here.
Tap.
You know what I'm saying?
You get the move.
Put the penis in now. Yeah, that too. You'll get a nice guiding, or they'll push a little harder. Come on, start working.
Yeah. Oh, you're right where I need you to be. Just stay right there. But yeah, you get the secret. The tap when it's time to do something else. But yeah, 45 minutes. I mean, I tell you, this is my embarrassing story on that. That's like it's a real life. I was with one girlfriend and she didn't tell me that it was her time of the month, and I came up with a real life clown mouse. And I remember when I came up, she like whoa. She like went back in her goddamn in the goddamn bed faster than I ever seen. And she just blurted out, it's like, you got my pussy blood all over your fucking face.
Oh man. That's not all right. Bro, she should have told you. At least you could have put a towel down or have something close to you to wipe your face. Jesus Christ.
I mean, I used her sheets to clean off. Don't worry. Good enough.
Ugh.
tastes like
Yeah, that's
tastes like copper, smells like fish.
yep. Escapades as a young man. That's the title of the book.
Nowadays, it's
Tastes like copper, smells like fish. My life as a young man
but
in
yeah.
America.
Oh God, but I don't want to keep you here all night. You're too nice. You'll stay here all night if I don't cut you loose. But
Well, you know, we were shooting the show. This is what, 2 hours, and that didn't take that long. I mean, the time physically went by, but you know, I think it went by pretty good.
Yeah,
I had a good dude. I'm always willing to hang out and talk. And you're right. I probably be like, oh, I gotta go. It's 11:30 here, so yeah, it is getting a little late. I don't want to keep the chat here. You know, we don't want to overstay our welcome. Is what we, you know. That's
yeah, because I appreciate the ones that, you know, they pop by whenever I do a random stream of my own. You know, A. Thompson, No Dak, and now, you know, Matt. Like they sent to donate their time to stop by and give me a reason to like keep on yapping. But yeah, you know, anytime you need a mic, you know, you let me know. I'll pop on with you or whatever. I'm kind of I if I got something I want to talk about or someone I want to talk to, that's when I want to do one of these. I just, you know, like I said, just want to talk to someone that's of the same kind of corporate mindset.
Yeah, we got the same corporate mindset. And that was, yeah. When you said, "Hey, do you want to hang out?" I'm like, "Hell yeah, I want to hang out." Because same, like we kind of know each other a little better now. We see each other around the old internet chats.
Yeah.
I appreciate you being here, man. Like the other stream you did with Dylan, and then there's a few more that were before that. And you were hanging out with Deb, and I've seen you around with Clowntown, and I'm gonna have to go back and look up these. I'm gonna have to harass Pat Dixon and see if why he won't have you back on. Well, you gonna have Doc on again anytime soon?
I might have said something bad though. It's the thing, because I mean, because some of the ones I would I would say really bad things because we were on Rumble. So I'm always like, I wonder if X comment that I can't even repeat here on YouTube. I wonder if that's where he said, "Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have him on for a while." I don't know.
There is that. That could be a thing. So
it's kind of like
I will learn from you and be careful.
It's kind of like, do you really want to know why your ex-girlfriend broke up with you? Do you really want to know the real reason? Are you prepared to hear that it was black cock? You know? If you're not prepared to hear about delicious, juicy black cock being the reason your girlfriend isn't your girlfriend anymore,
she chose the BBC.
Then you don't want to ask. So I was just like, "Hey, he hasn't had me on. It's all good. It's, you know, it's like it's his show. You know, if he wants me on, I can't say that I'm right of center, kind of conservative, libertarian, whatever you want to call it. I don't even know what the fuck I am. I can't say I'm a free speech type person. If I'm like, no, if you've had me on months, you're beholden to have me on all the time." Or anything like that. But yeah, like I think we're saying the same thing. It's like, you know, if you ever feel like you want to do a show on your thing and you need somebody, give me a ring. I'm typically always available Monday through Friday in the evenings, definitely for sure. I'm out of pocket. I try to get some pussy on Fridays and Saturdays, so I'm out on Friday.
Yeah, no, you do that. That's exactly right. You know, for me, it's Thursday, and then you caught me early enough. Saturday is the day I usually just stay off the internet, but today I did 3. Brandon was on earlier. Mr. Deaf. So he was like, "I'll send the link out to a bunch of people," and he's like, "Sent me it." So I stopped in to say hello, and then typical BYB stuff. This members only dabble review.
Yeah.
And now hanging out with you. So like I put in a little work this Sunday, but it was mostly for bullshit and reasons. It was, I'm hanging out with the boys all day today. It wasn't, you know, like, but it's typically what you do. Like, yeah, it's Friday evening, I'm home, but Saturday and Sunday, I go out. That's time to go outside, see the sun, fucking talk to real people who don't know anything about this.
That's the thing. It's like, I mean, I try to make it a point to go. It's like, the great guys, Tukey and that crew that I feel, very fortunate to have met recently, through, kind of you and Dylan, like I'll always feel bad whenever they do ask me to come on and do like a series, like, yeah, but I'm out trying to get laid. That's the one thing that's good about being crazy is I can't get a girlfriend, but I can usually find a girl that's got daddy issues if I go out long enough.
Yep, it's a numbers game, dude. It's always been a numbers game. You just keep asking, and somebody's going to say yeah.
Yeah.
Thompson, you might find a fixer upper too. You got to be careful. Somebody might want to be like, "Oh, I know what's wrong with you. I can help you out," and then you're like, "Fuck, man," because that's the person that doesn't want to leave you alone.
Well, then it just turns into that, the crazy hot scale, kind of like that. I mean,
yeah.
If it's like if it's a 10 and it's a 10, and if it's an 8, 9, or 10, and they're wanting to fix me, oh, okay, I'm game. A 7, nah. We can do it, but it ain't gonna be no fixing. There's no fixer upper. Deadful. We're talking about French 2K, Deadful. Hey, thanks for coming in, Deadful. I didn't know you were here today. I guess you just popped in just now. Thanks for coming by. Deadful, if this is the first time you've got to watch me, I'm completely an unprofessional. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just talking to my buddy and we're just trying to have fun. I did want to address A. Thompson real quick. I saw what Dixon did to Carmick, charging a drunk guy $100 after he already sent in $100+ worth of Rumble rents. Now that was a dick move, and I side with Carmick on that. I think I know what story he's talking about. Like, he basically had to pay to come on once or twice. Yeah.
Well, no, he might be referring to a specific time where Dixon, Taz, and him were all fighting, and Carmick had already been running his mouth, like sending in chats and blah blah blah, about speaking his piece.
Yeah.
And then I think Dixon said, "Well, send me $50 and I'll send you the link."
Okay.
But then he was like, "Well," and then this is what Dixon said. 50, I'll send you the link. Taz goes, "Make it 100," because it was going to be something that made her uncomfortable. And that's kind of what, and I agree. I see what I didn't know. I understand now why Mr. A. Thompson is upset. That is a bit of a dick thing to do to the guy. Yeah, right. That's what I mean. Taz said, no, make it 100. And Carmick ponied up, and good on him for that. I will give him credit for that, even though I don't like the guy that much. I think he's a bit of a crybaby about his life and things. And
yeah, that was the one where he was going, "Shut up, Schmel."
Yeah. That's and that's what makes him entertaining, is when he's angry and yelling. And so I'm curious to see what's going to happen here in the future now that he's got a girlfriend, and how his content changes moving forward. So that's interesting. That was a good one, though. Shut up, Schmule.
Yeah, it was. That was a situation where I try to tell people, it's like, we don't live in a black and white world. We live in a world of shades of gray. None of us are perfect at all times. It's like, I agree that charging the guy money to come on, kind of a dick move. But now, weeks earlier, Carmick did the pretty bad episode where he talked about the kind of sex stuff he'd like to do with Taz, and that's crossing a major line too. So that's where I just say, everybody's got shades of gray. We shouldn't be going on here making girls uncomfortable, saying, what we'd like to do with them and stuff like that. And if you did because you were blitzed out of your mind, you need to fucking apologize.
Right. And that's when I started fucking with him, is when he started doing the Taz stuff and getting drunk every day and really running off at the mouth. Because some of it was disingenuous anger towards people he didn't know. And then, like, with Taz saying, "I love Taz and I'm going to do this, that, and the third." It's like, dude, you're doing this all wrong. This is not how you confess your love for somebody who pretty much doesn't want to be sexualized anyway. But Shmuel was doing the same thing I was doing, Mr. A. Thompson. He was just kind of putting his words right back at him and be like, "No, dude, you said this and you behave this way, and you should be ashamed of that. And then it's basically, fuck you guys, you don't know what you're talking about. This is making me money now. And, so he must be doing something right versus, us saps who sit around and are happy with ourselves but not making as much money on Super Tip. Okay. Like, I'd rather have the latter. I'd rather be happy here with you, shooting shit versus having to put on a performance every day of angry guy who is going to tell the world like it is.
Like, we're going to go to sleep just fine tonight because we got to hang out and we're just talking, and I'm not in any conflict with anybody because I'm not going to give those people air to breathe. If I find out someone like legitimately has a hard on for me, you get muted and I will never seek you out. And that's it. I'm done. And I don't see that anyone is like, God, I just hate that Spurg snake. He's my enemy. He's the Joker to my Batman. And
I'm not that bad.
Yes. And and your shows always seem to have a chill chat. So far, I've been blessed with the people that this find out that I'm doing something. They come in and they're chill, just having a little bit fun. Matt Hebner said it best: dabble versus too intense for me. Yeah, it's
Yep. That's why this is the therapy in between some of that.
Yes, that's it.
And I get to kumite on BYB if somebody wants to come on and argue. But mostly it's like this. I get to spout an opinion and people are like, oh yes, that's exactly how I say. Or I say something stupid and people rip on me. Oh, you're ignorant. You don't know what you're talking about. And
I just don't understand how some of these fans or some of the chatters, they get so passionate about comedians that don't even know they exist.
Yeah, that's and I think part of it is the internet makes these people accessible, and I don't think I'm on the same level as some of these guys. Like you were saying, there's tiers to it.
Yeah, there's tiers.
I'm not expecting to be on WATP or anything. If I go on there, I'm not going to be a nervous Nelly either because I know there's tiers above him. I would say that our high tier here in the Dabbleverse is like Pro-Am, whereas like PewDiePie, Mr. Beast, Bimmy, these guys got 1,000,000 plus, 5 million plus, 10 million plus subscriber counts.
They have legitimate sponsors. They're not doing super chats. They've got legit sponsors. It's like you have the ones like Bimmy that have the legit sponsors. Then you have the people that are just under him that are like the Blue Chew sponsor people. It's still a big deal. I'd give my left nut for a Blue Chew sponsor, but you have that, and then and then you have the people like the high end of the super chatter universe. I saw that when it's kind of related. I don't even listen to ICP, but Shaggy Two Dope had a podcast for a while, and that's his entire show was him reading super chats. He was making probably $1,000 or more an episode just reading funny things that, people would send in. So yeah, there's different tiers to all this. It's like if my tier turns into never making $1 from the chat, but people can come in and just sort of relax a little bit and just, wax intellectual about what's happening in the periphery of all this stuff, I'm happy.
Oh yeah, and that's what'll happen. It will grow, dude. I've been doing this for a little more than a year, probably a year and a half now, and I wasn't really going on other shows until just the last 4 or 5 months. You just plug away, dude. Just keep doing your thing. Now that you know how to schedule, make sure you schedule and try to stick to. If you pick a day a week, stay on that one day a week at that time, and you'll stay in the algorithm, and YouTube will push you. Like tomorrow night, I will be on from 10 to midnight, and I'll schedule it tomorrow morning, and people will be waiting by 10 o'clock because it'll get pushed around throughout the day. So that's like my advice to you. Just make sure you schedule 12 hours before you want to go live. Like if you want to go live at 10 p.m. at night, make sure you schedule it and then tweet it out or whatever that morning, and it'll pick up steam throughout the day. And if you really are serious about it, you got to do a lot of self-promoting, and I'm not into that. So I'll take it as it comes. Like you said, if I make $1 later on, great. Up until then, we're all chilling. It's a chill stream. Come in, hang out, make jokes. We're laughing at Gillian, Karmic, and all these other fucking weirdo cows.
If someone's
Tonight.
got money burning in their pocket, that's why I put my Venmo as my username. Because I was like, I don't know how to do it any other way, so I'll just do that.
Yep.
That
Like, and it's,
buy the paint.
yes, like you said, until Melton produces super tips for all of us, I'm not reaching out and asking. Until then, it's Venmo and PayPal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's the
But
thing.
you're somebody that people like, though. You got good takes, and you're a good storyteller. You got a good voice for talking.
Oh, thank you.
So it'll come, dude. I'm for sure of it.
Yeah. But yeah, I know you're like me, you're too nice. Well, I'll end up holding you hostage accidentally if I don't cut you loose at some point. So before you go, right? Tell people like pretend, make this a practice run. Tell people how they can find you every week. David Chandler came by. Hey, David, I didn't even know you knew I existed, buddy. Thanks for coming by.
I know something you don't know. David Chandler is a good dude. You think he's related to Deadpool in any type of way? I don't know. Good person. I like DC is a good dude.
Oh, okay.
I just let the secret out of the bag. Shh. I shouldn't have told you the secret identity of Deadpool. Another guy that you mentioned him earlier, like coming in and stopping in. Champion of the Underdog podcast. Both those guys.
Okay.
I've seen Deadpool and David Chandler both in multiple 20 less viewers, like 20 viewers at a time, 20 people in the chat, and he's in there hanging out and being a bro. So I really appreciate him. Just as a guy.
I've never seen either these two separate people, Dead Fool. Is it Dead Foo or Dead Fool?
Dead Fool and David Chandler, isn't it?
And David Chandler. I've never seen them like go full heel mode on anyone in any of the chats. I mean, I can say this about everybody: A. Thompson and No Dak, David Chandler, the ones from earlier. I've seen their names, and I've always had fun talking to them, just one-on-one talking to them in the chats and stuff. So, and I mean, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm just trying to say thank you guys for being chill. But yeah, how can we find you every week again? You've got your own channel, and you're a guest on BYB often.
Third mic.
Your official third mic. You're not just a guest. Yeah. You're a third mic. Okay.
Yep. Yeah. He hired me on, so to speak, I guess. Here I go with the so to speaks again. Yeah, I guess he needed the co-host. He had 3 people on before. Yeah. The one guy couldn't make it as often as he once thought he did, like a schedule change. So he was like, "Hey, Sprig, you want to come hang out on the thing?" And we tried it out for about a month, and he's like, "We gel. You're good enough. If you want to be a third mic, you're a third mic." And Honk the Clown's okay with it. But the thing that I'm going to champion here most is 10 p.m. My channel's at Spurgsnake on YouTube. So if you type in YouTube/@Spurgsnake, it'll take you right to my channel. Monday nights between 10 and midnight, I play Wheel of Fortune, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, Family Feud is the second hour. I encourage wrong answers, because the questions on Family Feud usually promote vulgar answers, and though my chat's wide open, you can get away with a lot of stuff in there. And on Twitter @Spurgsnake. So I usually tweet this kind of stuff out. Hey, I'm going to be hanging out with Doc. Hey, I'm going to be hanging out with Brandon or Dylan or my friend Annie. Like, that's where I do my video gaming, is with her. She does What Is This Game? She's like part of the What Is This Pod? Who Are These Podcast crew?
And I want to point out something. You're a likable person, because if I'm picking up on what A. Thompson is saying here, I think A. Thompson might have thought you were more of a dick. And
because I can be. He saw what I was saying to Karmic. I was being an absolute asshole to that guy. I was being an absolute asshole to Aaron Imholt. I was being an absolute asshole to a couple other people. And that's why I feel like I'm disappointing Matt, because I want to go be an asshole to this guy that he and deservedly so. He needs to have somebody. I just don't have an approach yet, because I don't know him and I haven't established anything. A part of my name, is true. I am sort of a snake where I will take my time and ease my way in until I'm right next to you. And then I will get my wrap around you, and you will know that I will be hugging you super tight until you can't breathe anymore.
Just hugging, just loving hugs. But yeah, I can. How many times did you get banned from Karmic?
He banned me on Twitter, so I can't interact with him there. Okay. Even when people at him and I respond to a post that he can't see what I say. Oh, okay. Now here's my favorite one. No, none of the that's the thing. I was in Clowntown's chat.
Yeah.
And I was with you and Pat Dixon. It was that night when I was with you and Pat. And I had got off stream and Karmic hadn't gotten on with Pat Dixon yet. And earlier in the week, Karmic was like, "Why are you here? Who invited you?" And so I said that to him. "Why are you in my Clowntown chat? Who invited you?" And that's where he blocked me. Because you can right click and block somebody in any YouTube chat, and that blocks you from seeing that person. So Karmic blocked me from seeing himself from seeing me. So now, when I'm in his chat, he can't block me. Everybody in his chat can see me except him.
Oh, I get
because
it.
He blocked me in
He blocked you on Clowntown and not his own channel. So you can still post in his channel and he can't see you to block you.
Because he blocked me in Clowntown's chat. So now I got a free roam in his chat. So what's funny is I'll be like, "Hey, what's up, guys?" And Brandon will be like, "Hey, Spurg," or anybody else in there will be like, "Hey, what's up, Spurg?" And they'll see my name go by, but he won't see my chats. He's like, "Spurg Snake's here. Fuck that guy." He'll just and then go on about how I'm an idiot. Or whatever,
the thing is like he can be fun, because I don't know if you know this, and I'm not trying to like be a promoter or anything, but it's like me and him did 6 hours, me and Karmic. Like I was out of the dabble verse. I was out with my own mental stuff, and I came back in, and I'm peeking my head back into the dabble. For some of these guys that already heard this already, and I apologize if I'm boring them. But like I came back and I'm like, I remember Karmic from Pat Dixon, and he was just a nice guy in the chat, and now he's kind of blowing up, and he's got like a channel and stuff going on, and it's pretty popular. He's verbose. He's very verbose, and like he's kind of going at people. It's like, but me and him have always been cool, and so like I went to his chat one day. To Pat's chat, and I was like, basically, I said, "Explain to me this like I'm 5. What's going on with Karmic?" And he told me. Then I saw Karmic was streaming one, and Stealth Chaos saw me, and it was just like, "Hey, you've got to add me on Twitter. I got to tell you what else is going on, basically." And so Stealth filled me in, and I saw Karmic on like a stream like a couple of days later, maybe a week later, and I sent in a super chat or something. And I was like, "Hey, man, I'll come on. I'd love to hang out with you." He's like, yeah. And he put me on, and we did 6 hours.
Yeah, he's a talker.
Yeah, and it was fun. And like, I think if anyone wanted to see the likable side of Karmic, not that I'm making any money from this, is go to his stream and go to the one it was either late May or early June, and it got over 2,000 views. But we did 6 hours, and we were just like what me and you are doing today, just sitting here bullshitting. He got mad a few times when he would talk about Pat and stuff, but overall, he was in a mood to just kind of have fun. So I think there's got to be I think he needs some people to bring out the fun side of him, because the being angry and yelling at people, that's only going to get you so far. And eventually, okay, I'll tell it like this. You've heard this story. You had to it. You're driving on your way to work. You see 2 dogs fucking on the side of the road. It's the funniest thing you ever saw, right? You're like, oh my God, you get to work. You're telling everybody, I saw these 2 dogs fucking on the side of the road. You go home, oh my God, there's dogs. They're fucking on the side of the road again. And you laugh. It's real funny. Next morning, you're coming to work. What the hell? These dogs are fucking on the side of the road. You kind of chuckle, but you don't
Right.
even bother bringing it up to the people at work. A week later, the dogs are fucking on the side of the road, and you just drive by and you don't even notice it. And that's what the anger streams do to people eventually. Is like, like, well, Perry Caravello is more creative, but like not except for Perry Caravello, people get tired of anger streams.
I would argue even Perry gets a little tiresome. It's just that he's
Oh
got a
yeah.
large enough audience that rotates in and out. They might see the same 50 people for 6 months and then a 50 different people for the next 6 months. But that was exactly what I was trying to get at Karmic. Yeah, I was like, dude, this is going to tax you. Not just physically of you having to muster that up every time, but mentally and emotionally, you're just going to get fucking tired. And anger is good at comedy, but it's not, like you said, it's not sustainable because it's a shocking thing. I can crack an abortion joke. I can crack 10 abortion jokes. By the 9th one, you're like, this guy's a fucking one note.
Heck, he's got one joke and he's going to run it into the ground. Yep.
And that's basically what's going on with Carm right now. His joke is angry at ex streamer for whatever reason. They're dickless, gay, and whatever diatribe. That's what what his gimmick is going is like, he needs that angry stream of consciousness because then a funny phrase will eventually come out. And that's what I think he's trying for. And it's not working. That doesn't work consistently versus doing this. Like you and I bantering back and forth, UHF channel podcasts or whatever else we said today. That was kind of pedestrian racism is another one that I picked up.
Oh, okay.
From around the internet, like I don't really hate anybody, but we're all like, every human being is like a pedestrian racist. Like we all have it in us inherently to kind of like side eye anybody who doesn't look like you. You know what I mean? Like you're suspicious at first, and that's just pedestrian. It's just walking racism to me. It's just what we do. I'm not going in that direction because it looks like trouble.
Oh yeah. Well, but at the same time, it's like I always tell people this. It's like, yeah, there's that, but there's also common sense. It's like you're not a racist because you don't want to walk down the dark alley that has 8 black guys in it. You just have common sense that those 8 black guys are in that dark alley for they're there for a reason. It's not that they're black. It's
right. And that's it. 200, 300 years ago, it was 8 Irish guys or whatever Bowery boys that were down there hanging out, looking to fuck somebody up and knock them for their, wallet or purse.
It don't matter what 8 people are in an alley. If I see anyone in an alley, I'm not going down an alley anyway, but it can be 8 fucking Eskimos in full Eskimo garb. I ain't going down that goddamn alley.
Yeah, it just happens to be that it's the flavor of black right now. You know what I mean? Like, in another 100 years, it's going to be mulatto, whoever. You know what I'm saying? Like, we'll figure out somebody else to fucking hate because that's how we are. We do that as human beings. We just hate everything all the time. So criticize everybody. All right, I got
those damned Irish, but but
that was. Yeah. Real quick about the Irish. That was one of the first pictures of a ghetto I ever seen in a school book. Like you opened it up and there was like this like panoramic picture of this Irish family. It was like a mom, a dad, a grandma, a grandpa, and 10 fucking kids. Like and they all looked miserable. And I was like, Jesus Christ, I don't want to be that poor ever. So, I'm very happy with the state of the world. Really. We're not all that poor right now.
Let me ask you this before we end it. I mean, if you don't know the answer, it's totally cool. I'm just thinking of it because it popped up into my brain automatic because I'm doing this shit little by little, in the pretend world that I'm fantasizing like, in 10 years, I'm Joe Rogan. I have a professional studio and a professional makeup artist that wheels me in because I'm elderly. Do you... For your streams, yours just goes right into it pretty much, right? Or do you have a video that plays? Because I seem to remember I just hear Wheel of Fortune clicking and then you're on the fucking screen like soon thereafter. Do you tell it to like play a video before you actually go live? Okay.
Yes, I do. I have a fairly, it's not complicated, but I have a few steps set up. So I have in Streamlabs, you can create scenes. Like Streamlabs is very similar to OBS, but it's much more click and drag and drop user friendly kind of stuff. Okay. But you can build a scene. And in my case, I like this. Here, I'll show you.
Okay. Yeah.
This right here, like,
Yeah.
see, there's a couple things going on here. There's a borderline uh, going around that you can see. Then there's the grid spinning, and then the be right back. That's three separate things.
Yeah.
There's a border, the will be right back animation, and then the full on spinning grid animation. So I have that all stacked, and that's for my start video. It's very similar to that. It's a grid and like some CRT filters to make it look like an old television, and then I'm playing one of Mr. Blue Sky's songs, and it says starting soon. It's just like that. It's all it is. It's just a chill song. It's not like a sizzle reel cut clip with like, oh, we're gonna get into it, and then it's me throwing a controller and explode. It's very chill, very quiet. Yeah, very quiet. Yeah, there you go. That's a perfect cue. But that's the idea. Like, and the be right back is the transition. If I got to go take a pee, I just hit be right back, run, go pee, come back and finish up the stream. And then I got a closing one where I actually do play a clip from a movie. My the one that competes with Office Space the most is The Cable Guy. It's Jim Carrey's probably his worst movie.
I love Cable Guy though.
I know. It's my favorite.
I loved it back then. I never talked shit about The Cable Guy. If Jim Carrey's out there listening,
I know it. And again, it was when I was about 15 when that movie came out, and it was the guy that was like, I got the movie, I understood it. He was raised by television, and so he didn't really have a sense of self. And he just needed a friend. Like he was just wanted to have a sidekick, real life friend. And that's kind of what I saw with Karmic is like, he just needs a real life human being friend to sit there and tell him, no, don't do that on stream. Yeah. No, don't. And so with the Cable Guy, that's the bit at the end, or when Matthew Broderick and Jim Carrey first hang out, like he makes a hangout date. He's like, okay, cool. I'll pick you up at 8:00. Bye. And Jim Carrey runs away. And so Matthew Broderick forgets about it. And then Jim Carrey shows up. Hey, Steve, it's time to go hang out. And they go hang out. And then when he's dropping off Matthew Broderick at the end of that, he's like, hey man, you didn't tell me your name. And Jim Carrey goes, you really want to know my name? And he gives him this creepy fucking smile. Like, and so that's like, he's like, he gives him that smile, and then Matthew Broderick looks at him. And he's like, I'm gonna go, and then gets out of the van, and then Jim Carrey goes, "This concludes our broadcast day." Click, and that's where my outro starts. Is right there on the click, because I like that movie so much. And it was such an awkward scene. It's like it's right for me because I'm an awkward guy who is always looking for a friend. And always looking to be a friend to a guy who needs a good slap in the head to keep their eyes forward, so they're not, backtracking on themselves.
I mean, and other things, and you made the mistake of bringing up something I'm interested in. It's like that movie resonated me on a lot of levels. I'm like, I see a lot of me in Jim Carrey's character. Yep. Oh shit, okay. And then I'm like, I see things like Matthew Broderick's character, like how he was getting. I had that exact girlfriend that was slowly breaking up with him. I had that exact girlfriend before at about that same year. And I'm like, I'm watching that movie and kind of getting an upset stomach because I'm like, that reminds me of Sarah.
Too familiar. Too familiar.
Too familiar. Oh god damn it. Oh no. But yeah, I'll probably want to bug you one of these days to help me do something like we'll be right back or something to end it. Or I really just, if I could just I've got access to production music that doesn't have royalties or anything like that because of my life I've lived. So I have some music tracks that I'm 99.9% sure will never get me in any trouble that I think would fit for an intro for the show, like with a countdown clock. If I could just get something basic like a countdown clock and the song I want to play, and then I can click go live. I'm like, I'm here on the internet. And maybe one of these days when you got some spare time, if you can give me some help doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. That was how this all started. Real quick, make it full circle. Cable Guy, directed by Ben Stiller.
Yeah.
Judd Apatow helped write on that. The guy that made the original script gets a writing credit, but Ben Stiller and Judd Apatow kind of made it what it was.
I've totally glossed over Judd Apatow had anything to do with that. Yeah.
I only know because I own the Laserdisc and I read it on back.
Shit.
Side note. And the other thing, yeah, that was what I first DM'd you about. Was like, oh, I got tech help for you, and I think you thought I was trying to DM you to like, get fresh or something. And I was like, oh man, I hope this guy doesn't think I'm a fag.
No,
I swear to God, that's what I thought. I was like, oh, maybe he was trying to pick up girls, and I took it the wrong way. It was just weird.
I got it immediately. I was like, that's why I tried to, I made sure to reply back, with something like, hey, say what you will about the Dabbleverse, but a lot of people here are very nice, But like, no, I got it. I don't. Knock on wood, I haven't had too many. I've only had a couple of like legitimately questionable. You would think it would be me, the one sending the questionable. There ain't one motherfucker out there that can say I sent anything questionable to them, unless they use unless like Perry Caravello would say something along the lines, they're using computer graphs. Like that.
Yeah, no kidding, man. Yeah, no worries. Anytime you want any tech help, just hit me up, dude, and I'll be right there.
And if you need a second mic or something like that sometime, you let me know. And everybody that's listening right now, God, I apologize. I've been saying we were going to end this probably an hour ago, and you all are probably held hostage with us too. But the plan is right now, unless something happens, and I understand life happens, but the plan is right now, I'm going to do another show or stream, whatever you call it, next Sunday. I think I'm going to pick Sunday as my regular day when I get a rhythm going. It's just easiest for me. It's probably not the best day of the week, but it's the easiest day for me. Sunday evening at about this time, 8 p.m. Central. And the plan is right now is to do one next week at about this time. And it'll be me and Dylan, and we're going to be covering Sid Vicious, not the punk rocker, the wrestler.
No, I know who you're talking about. That's exactly who came. And, I should have thought of Sid Vicious and the Sex Pistols first because I do like music.
Yeah.
But as soon as you said, I knew who it was.
Yeah.
Was he one of the Four Horsemen, or am I remembering wrong?
He was.
Sid Vicious, Arn Anderson, and the other two guys I can't remember.
Yeah, when he was one of the Horsemen. Oh, I see you, A. Thompson, since Stealthily. I do need to shout out Stealth more often though, because he is one guy that would DM me every now and then. You got to do some more shit, dude. You can't be a lazy asshole. He'll pester me. He'll pester me in a good way. I think I'm going to go on the record and say I think Stealth's a good guy. I know he's polarizing to some people, but I get along with him. So I'm going.
I haven't had much. I haven't had much interaction with him to make that kind of opinion. I do this. I will make fun of him for the comic. You need to chill out, comic. Like he has that real floaty English accent that it's soothing, but then again, I know he can be scathing too. So
he can be scathing. When I've chatted with him and stuff, it's like when he feels like it's time to be firm, he's firm, and I guess it's because he's on the other side of the aisle. Well, he's in Japan, but from England or whatever. It's like the straightforwardness that he has. It isn't what us Americans are used to. So it might come across as like, but the plan is next Sunday, we're going to be talking about Sid. Sid's probably my favorite wrestler of all time. I know it's kind of a random pick, but to use the word verbose, he's the guy I know his entire career backward and forward, and I could talk Sid Vicious for 12 hours. So Dylan, being a professional broadcaster, is going to have to keep me on task. So, it's a tight, 2 hour, go as long as it's fun, but 2 hours or whatever, something like that. Because I got a lot of stuff planned that I want to talk about. I've got stories bookmarked and video. He'll have to tell me if he thinks it's safe to play them or not. But I got videos that I think are safe to play, but he would know better than me. So,
and you got to watch what wrestling,
yeah,
because especially if it's in Vince McMahon's pocket, they'll drop the hammer on you. But if, I imagine if it's smaller territories, maybe some WCWs.
I think the basic rule is kind of like this. Like from what I can pick up, and God knows I am no video lawyer, so don't take anything I'm saying as I don't even think it is fact. But like I think if it hasn't been released to the public, like for example, like WCW Worldwide was a show that they had way back in the day. That hasn't been released in any way, shape, or form on Peacock, WWE, or nothing. The only way it's up on YouTube is by VCR tapes that people uploaded. I think that's fine because I've never heard, and I guess I would be the first one to find out. I've never heard of a channel being taken down because of it, because I've watched thousands of hours of wrestling matches that are literally VCR tapes from WCW uploaded to YouTube. If that channel hasn't been taken down and it's got tens of thousands of views, I don't see how mine would get in trouble. But that's just me not knowing any better. I'll just say that. And yeah.
It's a hit or miss thing. You never know. But if it does happen, because you're not monetized, you're not going to get a strike or anything like that. You're not going to get anything that's going to penalize you hard. It'll be trim this section out or mute it or, take or, that kind of, or you can delete the video altogether. But if you want to keep them for posterity's sake, you'll just you trim that section out where it'll tell you this part's copyright, and it'll say from 6.5 minutes to 7 minutes, 40 seconds or whatever. And YouTube has a back end tool that'll trim it out for you.
Because my only experience, and it's not on the channel that we're on right now, because like everybody, we all have multiple channels and multiple usernames all over the place. I had this other YouTube that I used to watch just wrestling and nothing else, so the algorithm doesn't get fucked up. This other channel, I wanted to share a video which is connected to the Dabbleverse. It's that video of the Tom Quadfather pranked Stuttering John and put up he put up that thing on the screen where it goes kill all the N words, and it's like some gross stuff happening on the screen. You know what I'm talking about, right? I mean, this is from like a year ago. Okay, I just wanted to make sure. I was like, you should know about it. Your third mic.
Well, I remember when it happened. That was one of them that Quad got noticed for, and a lesser one that got him was getting Mersh on his show and then having Jesse from Pod Awful sort of ambush him right after Mersh had been talking shit about Jesse for about 30 minutes. Quad goes, "Oh, look who's here," and then presses a button, and then Jesse pops up.
And he's I had a fish lunch. He's that guy, isn't he?
We had a fish lunch.
I don't know why it's funny, but it's funny, and I have no context of it. We had a fish lunch.
Oh, I could get Mersh is a Rumble guy.
Yeah.
He got into Rumble kind of early on, a little bit. Not so early on, but like Rumble was trying to pull YouTube people, and they met with the guy that pretty much runs Rumble, and they, we got a good deal. We're going to do reads and we got ad revenue. We're Rumble partners now.
Okay.
And then so a few months go by, and then this other YouTuber who was popular, Rumble started, headhunting, and his name was Kai or something. He's a black kid, probably in his 20s, real popular YouTuber.
I know. Yeah, I know who that is. Okay.
And so they take Kai to the content house and give him a room. He can make content here all day, all night, do whatever you want to do. Wow, Kai got a steak dinner. We got a fish lunch. Oh, here
we got a fish lunch.
So he was upset that somebody else got royalty treatment. They got a steak dinner. Yeah, and then all they got was so like I don't even. That was probably a true ass statement, but the comparative thing of we give our good people steak dinners and you get a fucking fish lunch now makes it so good. You know what I'm saying? Like that's so worth it.
Because like, okay, as you can tell, it's like I'm not in this shit enough that I don't know everything that's going on. I know 10% of what's going on. That's why I'm doing stuff like this, just talking to people that I find interesting and fun and chill. It's like I am not the Dabbleverse historian by any means, and no one would ever want me.
Yeah, I know. Unfortunately, and if Matt's still here, he was like, "Oh, dude, I was gonna give him a crash course in Dabble stuff. He got it tonight, basically.
Yeah,
you know, as we did this little back and forth, hard hitting 2020 Dateline NBC interview. We covered a lot of lore though, and people who didn't know or wanted to partake, you know, like Mr. Thompson just mentioned, it was it was a content house he didn't get invited to.
And this is how little I knew. When I heard that clip randomly, because it played at the beginning of a Doom video of something interesting I wanted to see a clip of. When I heard, I had a fish lunch, I had no context of what the fuck that meant. I just thought he was talking about a lunch he had, and he worded it in a funny way. And it made me laugh because I was wondering, what the hell is he talking? Why is he talking about having a fish lunch? And he sounds weird. And that's all I knew, and it made me laugh.
I clipped that right away because that was one of my favorite ones. I was like, this is gold. I'm going to have to hit. But everybody just, like, I have the audio on my board so I can play it.
Yeah.
Melton plays the video clip, but he cuts it slightly short. He goes, "We got a fish lunch." And like looks and like turns and looks at the camera and goes, like he's upset. Like he is legit upset. He smacks his lips. It was so funny.
No, that's good, but yeah, that's like I don't know, but that shit's funny. But yeah, next week around 8, Sid Vicious, Dylan, Just Wrestling, probably less than 1% Dabbleverse talk. So if you enjoyed this week's episode, I want to lie to your face and tell you you will like next week's episode. But unless you like Sid Vicious and hearing me nerd out about Sid Vicious for an hour or two, because that's what I'm going to do. And if other shit comes up, it'll come up. That's all the promises I want to make. And that's as long as, you know, as long as Dylan can make it. Because like I said, I know not to take shit seriously. I try to let everybody know if they want to do anything with me. I'm as easy going if it gets. If life happens and you're like, hey, we're going to do something Wednesday night, and then Wednesday night happens and you're like, man, I got the shits. I just don't want to do a stream night. I'm not going to have a melt. I'm not going to Chad Zumach you and screenshot the DM. How could you do this to me? I've been planning all week for this. You know, I'm just like, we'll do something some other day. It's all good. I'm not making any money doing this anyway. I'm just wanting to hang out. So that's it. So, well, I guess we've come to the end. I gotta take a check. We made it to the end. I'm gonna take a shower and have a fish lunch. What are you gonna do?
Same. I'm gonna try to get some of the sweat off my ass and probably play some video games for a little bit and head to bed.
What video games you playing tonight? I mean, I know it's off screen, but yeah.
Yeah. It's a game called Once Human. It's like a survival style game. There's a lot of crafting. You make your own armor, some weapons. Right now I got a nice large machine gun that shoots bullets that burst into flames, you know, that kind of stuff. And so, you know, just silliness. I play all kinds of games though. This one is online MMO style. I'm in a group of people. We run around and you do questing and things.
Oh, cool. I'm going to play WWE 2K25 because I'm grinding in-game currency so I can buy more characters.
I'm basically in the same situation. I'm grinding these crystals so that way I can upgrade my character a little more and get some stronger weapons.
I think every game more or less is kind of going toward, you know, that kind of model. You either pay to play or you play the ever-loving shit out of this game to where you have enough in-game currency to, you know, buy the next gear for your card or buy a new card or buy XP. You know, I think they're all doing that now more or less. Well, all right. If I don't shut myself up right now, we're going to go another
Me
2
too.
hours. So
Yeah, I know. I
thank
can
you,
do it.
everybody in the chat. Thank you. Holler at me. I'll holler at you tomorrow night in the chat when you do your stream. So
right.
just promise me you have a good night, and we'll say goodbye,
You too.
everybody. All right. Bye,
Stay
everybody.
blessed, y'all.